Wait for our live stream to pick up and then we will get started. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mel Barnes. I'm Chief Legal Counsel to Governor Tony Evers and the chair of his Pardon Advisory Board. I'm going to introduce my fellow board members. I'll go through a little bit of housekeeping about how today's hearing will work, and then we'll get started hearing from all of you. So first, we have board member Cindy O'Donnell, who has served as the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Corrections under Governors Thompson, McCallum, and Doyle. She also served as a division administrator under Attorneys General Lautenschlager and Van Hollen. We have board member Eric Liberator, who teaches paralegal students from around the world in the University of Cincinnati's online program. He previously served as a supervising attorney at Disability Rights of Wisconsin, where he focused on public benefits eligibility, and in the governor's office. And we have board member Anthony Cooper Sr., who is the CEO of Focused Interruption, an organization dedicated to interrupting the cycle of violence within the community. He received a pardon from Governor Evers in January 2021. And we have board member Myrna Warrington, who is a director of vocational rehabilitation on the Menominee Indian Reservation. She is a U.S. Army vet and has been a member of the Menominee Tribal Legislature for over 15 years. And we have board member Reverend Jerry Hancock, who is the director of the Prison Ministry Project. He previously served as a public defender, a deputy district attorney, and as an administrator for the Department of Justice's Division of Law Enforcement Services. All right. So I will go through just a couple of things about how today's hearing is going to work. First of all, please keep in mind that the hearing is being live streamed via Wisconsin Eye and YouTube. For that reason, applicants, we're going to ask you to keep your cameras off and yourself muted until it is your turn to be heard by the board. That way we can focus on the person who's presenting and make sure we get good audio quality. If you do have any IT issues with the Zoom, don't worry about it. If Zoom isn't cooperating, someone from the team will give you a call and help you troubleshoot. If it means we need to come back to you, we can certainly do that. Otherwise, we are going to call on folks in the order listed in the agenda and open meeting notice, and each applicant will have 5 minutes total with the board. We're going to ask you to spend the first 3 of those minutes speaking to the questions that you were sent in advance of today's hearing. As a reminder, those are to first, please give us a brief summary of the offense you're seeking a pardon for and how your sentence went. We're not here to retry the crime. You don't need to minimize your involvement. We just want to hear from you in your own words what happened. Second, to give us a brief summary of what you've done since the completion of your sentence, community involvement, employment, essentially where you're at now and how your life is different than the time of your offense. And third and finally, a brief statement about why you're seeking a pardon and why you think the governor should grant you one. Once you've spent 3 minutes speaking to those questions, we'll open it up to any follow-up questions the board may have for you. Don't read too much into it either way if we do or don't have questions for you. We've spent a lot of time with your application materials before today's hearing, and as you know, there's a lot in there. Once you're done answering any questions we have for you, though, you are welcome to sign off and leave the Zoom hearing. Once everyone's been heard, the board will meet in closed session and decide whether to recommend your application to the governor. You need a majority support of board members present in order for your application to be forwarded to Governor Evers. He will then make the final decision on whether or not to grant you a pardon. Either way, you'll hear about the outcome of today's hearing about 1 to 2 months from today. We know you've been really patient just to get to hearing day. We thank you for giving us a little bit more time so that we can get those recommendations to the governor. So with that, we will go ahead and start with our first applicant this morning. First, I'm going to do a call for Feng Yang. Mr. Yang is not scheduled to appear today. He was at the last hearing that we held on February 20th. However, we misspelled his name in the open meeting notice. So if there is any victim input or anyone here to speak to Mr. Yang, please speak up now, or you can contact our office within the next week, and we'll be happy to take that input into account. Otherwise, we are going to go ahead and start with Diane Douglas. Miss Douglas?
Hello,
Good morning.
good morning. Good morning, and thank you for taking the time to hear my request today. My name is Diane Douglas, and I am here to respectfully ask for a pardon for my past convictions. My convictions stem from mistakes I have made earlier in my life. In 2002, I was convicted of armed robbery as a party of a crime. In the following years, I was also convicted for drug-related crimes, with manufacturing and delivery of a small amount of cocaine and maintaining a drug trafficking place. These occurred from 2005 to 2006. At the time in my life, I was making very poor decisions and surrounding myself with the wrong people and influences. I take full responsibility for the choices that I have made during that period. Looking back now, I deeply regret those decisions and the potential harm they have caused. Those experiences forced me to take a harder look at my life and the direction I was heading. Since that time, I have worked very hard to build my life and become a responsible, productive member of society. I built a home and focused on creating a stable life for myself and my family. I returned to school and pursued education and a career developing, including my CDL training and a course in areas such as human resources, financial management, office software. I also attempted to pursue training in becoming an AODA counselor. I wanted to help others who might have been struggling with the kind of challenges that led people down the wrong path. Unfortunately, my felony record prevented me from completing that program, but the desire to contribute positively to others and my community remains very important to me. Over the past many years, I have worked and maintained a stable life, a responsible life. I have focused on my family and my home and continue to grow as a person. The person I am today is very different from the person that I was in the time that my offenses occurred. I understand that a pardon cannot ease the past, and I accept responsibilities for the mistakes I have made. However, I have I am hope I'm hopeful that the board will recognize the work that I have done to change my life and many years I've spent moving forward in a positive direction. A pardon would allow me to move forward without the barriers that the convictions still create for my employment and my education opportunities. It would allow me to fully use the skills and education I have worked hard to obtain and continue contributing positively to my community and my family. I cannot change the decisions I have made in my past, but I have worked very hard to build a better life since then. I respect I respectfully ask the board to consider giving me the opportunity to continue moving forward. Thank you for your time and your decision.
Thank you, Ms. Douglas. We'll open it up for questions from the board. Cindy?
Yeah, good morning, Ms. Douglas. These crimes all happened between the age of you were 18 to 22, and they all appear to be drug related. Would that be fair to say?
The drug related, yes. The drug crimes, yes, but the armed robbery was not drug related.
Okay. Um, but the other four or five were. And
Yes,
I'm curious because in your application, one of the questions is describe any treatment you've had since your conviction, and you put NA, not applicable. So, have you had any treatment for your drug-related issues? And if not, how did you move on from that?
I wasn't a drug user. I was a drug dealer.
Okay, you didn't use it all.
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, it's unusual to see that. But okay, so you never really even needed drug treatment in your opinion. You had no issues with drug. Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right.
While incarcerated, they did ask us to take some classes, and I successfully completed all of those classes while I was in prison. And I went for a sentence modification and was granted that because of all of the programs that I had completed successfully while incarcerated.
Okay, and tell me about that was my another question. Tell me about that sentence modification. What did the court do?
Because of all of the programs that I had completed and their certificates and schooling while I was incarcerated, They did a sentence modification where they let me out 6 months early, and
Okay.
that 6 months got added on to my extended supervision instead of me being incarcerated. So I got out early instead of serving the rest of my time incarcerated.
Okay. And you mentioned in your application that a pardon would help you with your hazmat certification. Can you explain that to us a little bit, what that means for you?
Yes, so I recently did just get my hazmat certification. However, though, um, I found out that because I have a felony, that no, because I'm trying to go to be a fuel hauler for truck driving. I've been truck driving for the last 6 years, and with me having my felonies, even though I have my hazmat, they won't hire me because of the felonies.
Okay.
So it's
Thank you.
preventing me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
Ms. Stokes, the district attorney in Wood County who reviewed your application, am I talking? Yeah. Who reviewed your application supports your getting a pardon. And he was the district attorney who actually prosecuted your cases. How does that make you feel?
Um, I'm going to be very honest and blunt that the day that I got my sentence modification, I thanked him for sitting me down because if he didn't, um, if he didn't put me, suggest that I have that many years in prison, I honestly think that I wouldn't be here today. I would be probably dead. And I thanked him for doing that because it changed my whole life. And I said that to him as well. And so I am very grateful and honored that he supports me.
Thank you very much.
Anthony, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just going to ask, Ms. Douglas, as far as what programs did you take while you were in prison?
I took financial management classes, office software, and then all of the um, I forget what they call them, but they're like classes that you get certificates for. Um, they wanted you to check those off in your little portfolio book. I took all of those classes to re-enter society.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Ms. Douglas. I think that covers all of it then. I appreciate your time and I hope you enjoy your Friday.
Thank you as well.
Next up, we have Tracy Stewart. Ms. Stewart?
Let's see. Okay, will it work?
We can hear you, Ms. Stewart. We can't see you quite yet. If you're able to turn your camera on.
Yep, I'm trying. Sure.
There we go.
Good morning. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I feel very blessed and honored to be able to be here today. It's been a long road, and I'm just very grateful to have this time with you. So, do I just go ahead and start? Okay. So, excuse me. In 2007, I was convicted of an OWI with a minor in the car, which was my daughter Autumn. I was sentenced to 6 months in jail, and after 2 months, I was able to get out on Huber. So I went to my sponsor's house, and she was willing to let me stay there, and I worked from there. I had the bracelet on, and I would ride my bike to work, and I had to go to West Side or Regent Street on random days to do a UA. I mean, this is a long time ago, so I don't remember exact dates. So, and at that time of my OWI, I was struggling with alcohol and drugs, and I had been through treatment a couple of times, and it's kind of a long story. As my sponsor would say, I have a lot of material, but I went through treatment and got involved in recovery right away. Some of the stuff I have a hard time reliving because I don't know that I've completely forgiven myself for the things that have happened and the things I've done to hurt my daughter and my family and the community. But I have gone through treatment since the conviction, and I've been sober since August 16th, 2009, is when I took my last drink, which was 17 years ago. I can't imagine my life any other way without my AA community, which I'm very involved in. And I sponsor women. I'm being sponsored. I work the steps on a daily basis. I have my morning routine where I pray in the morning, and I have my meditation books in my little spot in my house. And I go to 3 to 5 meetings a week. Like I said, I have a home group, a service position at that home group. I sponsor women. I'm really involved in the community. We go to conferences together, all over. So I might have bounced around a little bit. So if you'll forgive me for that. So I did go to ARC, the Center for Women and Children, for treatment, and was sober for a year and was able to get on the board of the advisory board there. And I did that for 5 years with Laura Fayback. And I also spoke there regularly to the women that were in treatment to kind of help them see that recovery was possible, and that, I would give out my phone numbers so they would have a temporary sponsor, and just kind of help them transition. I also would donate a lot of clothes there for, the women that were in treatment and their children. And I also did a lot of donating at Dane County Advocates for Battered Women, which they were also on the board with me when I was working at ARC or volunteering at ARC. I started a sober softball team that lasted 7 years. I got injured about 4 years ago and couldn't do it any longer. So I also hosted many events. I still do at my home. We live in Sun Prairie, and I'm on like 10 acres. So we've had sober softball teams. We've played volleyball, sober campouts and bonfires to celebrate people's recovery. We do a lot of fun things. So also I made a recovery tape with my daughter, Autumn, who I'm currently with right now. And Mahala's Hope is a horse therapy ranch run by Sandy Harding, and we did basically a recovery tape showing that that's possible to reunite children with their parents, mother or father, after things like this happen. I also was involved in Dane County Advocates for Battered Women. I volunteered at DHS to assist social workers. Basically, I would go in there with Flo Hilliard, who works for the state of Wisconsin. And I also got my recovery coach training certificate, and I have it here if you want to. I think I might have sent a copy.
Mr. I don't want to cut you off, particularly from talking about all of your activities, which are quite extensive and impressive. But can I just turn you to why you're seeking a pardon and why you think the board should grant you one before we open it up for questions?
Okay. Okay, so in since 2010, I started my own company. I started my own cleaning business, which I have hired people in the program who are currently seeking work. But I also want to expand my business, and my felony has prevented me from that. At one point, I wanted to also go for my real estate license. I couldn't do that. Working at an airline, that was another thing that, seeking other professions, having a felony on your record, it's just not possible. Also, I personally, growing up with my family, they're all hunters, and we had land up in Blair, Wisconsin, and I clearly could never hunt again or own a gun or, um, be able to go hunting with my family, which has been a tradition since I was a little girl. Recently, both my parents have passed, but I still want to be able to someday pass on that legacy to my daughter and my grandbaby. I currently have a little grandbaby in my life as well, that I'm very blessed to be a part of her life and my daughter's life. And yeah, so I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Additionally, oh, and I would like to travel internationally. We just had the international in Canada for the AA convention, and I wasn't able to go because I have a felony on my record.
Thank you, Ms.
So,
Stewart. Let's just see if board members have any follow-up questions for you. Board members? Reverend Hancock.
Ms. Stewart, the district attorney in Dane County reviewed your application and supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
oh my God, that makes me feel really good. I've worked very hard to try and put everything back together. I lost my daughter, who's my world, and the community. And I just really appreciate your thoughts on that. And
Good.
yes, I would be very grateful.
Thank you.
Other questions for Ms. Stewart? Okay, I think that covers it then, Ms. Stewart. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up, we have Michael Morrison. Mr. Morrison?
Can you hear me now?
We can. Are you able to turn your video on? We cannot see you. There we go.
Okay. Ready?
Mhm.
Well, good morning. My name is Michael Morrison. I am 42 years of age from Racine, Wisconsin, currently living in Sturtevant for the past 15 years. I am here asking for a pardon of 3 felonies. The first one was operating a vehicle without a consent in December of 1999. I was 16 years old and I was sentenced to 4 years for prison for it. It was a situation where my best friend had took off and moved to Georgia, and I thought it was a good idea to do the same thing. Stole my brother's girlfriend's car and I drove it to Georgia, where I lived for approximately a month until my friend's parents found out that I was underage and had a stolen car. They recommended to me that if I got rid of the car, maybe I could stay there. So I lit the car on fire, and then they told me, no, you have to go. I came back to Racine, where I was arrested at the time. Second felony was a party to a burglary, building to steal. It was February of 2005. I was age 21. They gave me 4 years in and 3 years out supervision. It was a situation the day before where I had caught my girlfriend cheating on me, and I took it to heart. And I went for a walk the next morning. I came upon a house that used to be my grandma's house, and I had wondered if her husband had still lived there. When I knocked on the door and nobody answered, the door was unlocked. I opened it and I realized that that was no longer any of my relatives' house. And I saw some change and I stole some change from a dresser, and I was charged for burglary. I got caught. The third one was a substantial battery. It was in August of 2007. I was age 24. It was my girlfriend at the time had went out and she was with some people, and then the guy had called her the B word, and made threats to her according to what she had told me. And I thought that I could defend her honor, and I went in the bar and I punched the guy. I hit him, not to minimize anything. Just one time, I was just trying to make a statement. I wasn't intention of really hurting anybody like that. The man had hit his head on a machine because of my punching him, resulting me in a felony battery. I got 14 months in prison for that. Let's see, since these crimes, my last incarceration, I was released in 2009. I worked for Picaro Ford for 8 years, and I'm a homeowner because of that. My old boss borrowed me the money to buy my house, which I have currently paid off. I'm a homeowner from that. I've been married for 14 years. I have 3 children of my own and a stepdaughter that I do take care of. I'm sole provider for everything. I'm currently working at Putzmeister. I've been here for 8 years, from Picaro Ford to Putzmeister. I have 50-50 placement of my son with his mother. My stepdaughter's 20, does not live with me. My daughters, Sophia and Marissa, are both still with me, 10 and 12. They go to a Christian school. I don't go out and do much. My home is my rock. My wife and my kids are my main priority, what I take care of and what I do in my life. It's how I keep right. I know it was almost half my lifetime ago. That's not the person that I am today. All my crimes were of a childish manner, I suppose. Like, I didn't think about the way that I had affected everything. After the burglary, I had told myself that I was done. And I remember sitting in jail, and there's people in there and they're banging on tables and they're laughing and having a good old time. And I was so sick with it, and it dawned, I'm smarter than that. I'm not here. I don't belong here. This is not for me. And I promised myself I would never steal from anybody again, and I haven't. And I learned another lesson after that for the battery. I didn't steal or commit crimes like that again. But the battery was a whole different one. Thinking that I was defending honor and stuff, and not even thinking about the ripple effect that all my actions can cause. And I almost didn't get to graduate from school. I was going to MATC at the time for auto collision repair. I almost didn't get to graduate. The judge let me graduate before I had to turn myself into the prison. My son was born when I was in prison. I missed that. Since release, I don't have any desire to do anything stupid. I'm more mature. I handle things as an adult now. And why should he grant me? It's because I believe in change. It's because every time I've been incarcerated, I've taken I've done every class that I could, and I apply these things that I've learned in my life. I'm constantly telling my kids and stuff that I control my own thoughts, feelings, and actions. We got to do things correctly. I apply everything. I'd like to have a pardon so I could travel as well, maybe open more doors in the future here for other jobs and things. And personally, because I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed of all the things I've done in my past. That's not me anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. We'll open up to questions from the board. Cindy?
Yep. Good morning, Mr. Morrison. As a part of the application process, people are encouraged to submit letters of support for their application, and that helps the board see the changes you've made and who you are today. And you chose not to submit any letters of support. Can you tell us why not?
I don't like to associate with a lot of people, and up until recently, I'm currently at work right now, and I didn't ask anybody for a letter until now. I asked my supervisor, and he said, yeah, even though I think it's kind of late. I just don't really associate with people like that, and kind of a personal matter. I didn't want to embarrass.
Well, a lot of applicants submit letters from family members and employers and other people. So it's just very helpful to the board to see, because you want us to see who you are now, not who you were then. And those letters are very helpful. I'll just tell you that. Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Eric?
Good morning. I just wanted to ask you about restitution in these cases. Sometimes we get records that are a little bit complicated, so I wanted to give you a chance to clarify. Did you pay all the restitution ordered in these cases?
Yes, everything has been paid, all my probation fees and everything was all satisfied before I was discharged. I do not have any bills for any of these.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Mr. Morrison. I appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Next up, we have Cortina Hairston. Ms. Hairston?
Good morning.
Good morning. We can hear you. Are you able to turn? There you are. Perfect.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, my name is Cortina Hairston. I'm now 51 years old. Originally born and raised in Kankakee, Illinois. I moved here in 2001 to help take care of my grandmother. I was just recently separated from a marriage. What happened was I had just had my youngest son. He was like 7 weeks old. Actually, it was just my second day back to work. My sister was 6 months pregnant with her youngest son, and a young lady by the name of Khadijah Love. She's like a close family. She's not a family member, but she's like close to our family. Her and my sister had some words, got in an argument over some stuff. Her and my sister ended up getting into a fight. So, of course, I go over after I get off work, not to fight, but to talk to her because we were so close. We were supposed to be family. So that didn't work out so well. We end up fighting. In the midst of me fighting her, don't know why, I had an eyebrow archer that I used to arch my eyebrows, touch them up on my lunch break. It was in my pocket, my scrub uniform pocket. I still had on my uniform. I'm a CNA. I was a CNA then. I'm still a CNA. And I ended up cutting her with the eyebrow archer. Um, didn't know that I had cut her to the extent I had cut her. But once I found out, I felt so bad. I apologized to her. We do still have a relationship to this day. Um, I feel so bad for that. I didn't have to serve any time. I did like 6 days in the county jail, and I had 3 years probation. So I did probation. I did anger management. Um, and one of the reasons I think I deserve a pardon is because, like I said, I work in the healthcare industry. I'm not a violent person at all. Um, I can say that that's a situation that went wrong. I've learned to maybe stay out of other people's business, no matter who it is. Yeah, when I went to court, she was gonna send me to Chichita. I broke down crying so bad. She just gave me 3 years probation. I don't even think I could have made it through that. I don't even know, but I just feel like I let my kids down, my family. I still beat myself up about it today because, like I say, I'm a CNA, but some jobs don't care really. Some jobs care. I've been turned down from several jobs. I've been on the way to orientation and been called and told not to come. I've been told by some jobs that if I could give them proof that I had my anger management, then I could still be hired. Um, when I first became a convicted felon, I didn't know that I could still work as a CNA, so I was trying to get other work. Like I went to Target, and basically the manager told me that he would hire me, but because of this substantial battery, they felt like I might snap out and like attack somebody or something. And I'm like, never. I've never been that type of person. I've been a CNA since 1995. I got certified in Kankakee, Illinois. I also worked as a CNA in Norfolk, Virginia. My ex-husband was in the military. and I've been doing CNA work here. But like I say, some jobs won't hire me. A lot of them will. I finished all my prereqs at Milwaukee Area Technical College for my LPN. So I went back and got on the wait list to try to finish my clinicals. But I'm so scared that this felon will prevent me from doing that. So I do have an LLC as well, but I haven't attached anything to it yet. I would love to like have a group home of some sort or even a cleaning business because I love to clean. So I just feel like this felon is like really preventing me from doing a lot of things that I would love to do. Um, I also received a letter in the mail. It didn't come until yesterday. I did email it to the email address for the governor pardons at wisconsin.gov, but it's stating that it's from a district attorney and they're stating that they do support my pardon.
We do
I
have
have to
that, Ms.
take,
Harrison. Yes,
huh?
we do have that, yes.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, I wasn't sure.
If it's all right with you, I'll open up to other questions from the board. Yep, all right, Cindy?
Yeah, good morning, Miss Hairston.
Good
I want to talk
morning.
about the victim a little bit.
Mhm.
The the victim had over 40 stitches as a result of this crime, and she was slashed in both on her back and on her face. And in your application, you indicate that you still, I don't know if you have contact with her or you see her
Yeah.
or what, but how have you made amends to the victim at the time of the sentencing? Were you ordered to write a letter of apology, or how have you made amends for
I
this?
wasn't ordered to do anything. As soon
Okay.
as I found out the seriousness of her cuts, I reached out to her and I apologized to her. I cried. I still feel bad to this day. Because she was more like a little cousin to me, to be honest. So yeah, it's very hurtful. I have her number in my phone right now. She lives in Louisiana and we do talk on occasion and keep in touch. I apologize to her all the time, and she tell me that she knows that I didn't mean to do it, and like she stops me from apologizing to her. Like, you don't have to apologize every time I see you, but it's just so hurtful to me because like if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have never did it. I don't even know why I grabbed the eyebrow archer out of my pocket, but yeah, it was just in the midst of the fight. But yeah.
Okay.
But I
Thank you.
didn't even realize that she was cut that bad, honestly, when I cut her. I just thought I had like a couple of times, to be honest. I didn't know. But I know that even though it's small, it's kind of like sharp because when I like touch on my eyebrows, sometimes I would nick myself and have to put like alcohol there. But I wasn't necessarily trying to hurt her that bad at all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions from the board? Eric?
You mentioned a couple times today that you completed anger management. What did you learn from doing that?
Um, I learned that sometimes when things happen, even though you mean well by trying to talk it out, maybe in person is not a good thing. To stay out of other people's business. My little sister, she's 4 years younger than me. And so I was always the type of sister I didn't know. I always thought I had to protect my little sister. So it was nothing that I really wanted to hurt her in the first place or even wanted to fight her, but we ended up fighting
All
and
right.
it got bad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock?
In your application, you talked about 2020 arrest at your sister's house for allegedly assaulting an officer, and you spent 2 days in jail.
Yes.
What was that all about?
Um, it was a Saturday afternoon. I can remember it clear as day. It was like noon. Me and my daughter, we were at the bank. I was getting some money out to pay some bills. I got a call from my sister. My mother lives with her. She was 65 at the time, and she stated that she had got into it with her neighbors and that my mother was pushed down. I guess they tried to come in her house. She said that they were trying to come in her house, and my mother was pushed down because of this. and she had to probably go to the emergency room. So I guess she had called a bunch of people. By the time I get over there, it was a couple of other family members there, and I go to see what was going on. The police was there. So my son, one of my cousins, and one of my son's friends, they came up, and all he knew was something his grandmother was pushed down. So him and the police got to arguing. I guess he was trying to argue with the young boys that the neighbors had young kids, younger boys about my son's age or whatever. And so they ended up getting into it. And the police and my son and them, the police was trying to defuse the situation or whatever. So my son took off running. I guess the police told him they were going to arrest him. So he took off running. And the only thing I did was I took off running too, because as soon as he took off running, he grabbed the gun. And I was just like, don't shoot my son, don't shoot my son, please. But I didn't even touch him. So that's why I was confused when I got to jail when they said that I assaulted an officer. But someone I knew worked at the DA's office and was like, they had footage and I didn't do anything or something. That's why nothing stuck. It wasn't any conviction or anything.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Ms. Hairston. Appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Next up, we have Bradley Ressup Taylor. Mr. Ressup Taylor.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I'm Brad Ressup Taylor. In 2009, I was in a fight with someone who had threatened my girlfriend at the time. And I took matters into my own hands and beat him up. 6 months later, 2010, I was 18 and was tried as an adult. My judge based me off my dad's violent past, and I was sentenced to 6 months in jail, 2.5 years probation. I completed both of those. I also had to do anger management, did that. Since then, I have been a part of multiple semi-professional football organizations where we've donated our time, whether it be in parades, animal shelters. Recently just did a Packers football game. I have also ridden with a couple different motorcycle organizations where we've also donated our time to bell ringing, homeless shelters. Other than that, I'm looking for a pardon to proceed in a dream that I have to help young men play football, help them with their issues that they have, whether it be anger or advice on anything else in life. I have 4 children of my own that I tell all the time it's never too late to follow your dreams, whether it be a job or anything else in life you want to proceed and follow.
Thank you, Mr. Ressup Taylor. We'll open up to the board. Board members, Cindy.
Yeah, good morning, sir. In your application, and then again this morning, you don't mention the victim. Can you talk about the harm to the victim of your attack?
I guess, well, we had mutual friends, so it was more of he didn't, I guess, expect it coming when I confronted him and I punched and kicked him, and that was that. It wasn't over and over again. He didn't go to the hospital at all. I actually haven't seen or spoke to him since, or even talked to the mutual friends that we had in the past.
Okay. We see a lot of applicants that in the heat of the moment do something. But in your case, according to the criminal complaint, you planned it 2 days before and you actually had someone else videotape it and record the assault.
I did. There was somebody who wanted proof of it, so I did not plan it 2 days before. It was probably the day before. It was not pre-planned, but I I'm not happy with the actions I did, and definitely wouldn't go down that road again.
I mean, it's possible that's what the judge was sentencing you all about, the pre-planning and the recording rather than whatever your father did. Have you thought about
No,
that?
no, the words from the judge himself were, seeing that your father came here to support you today, because my father was at my court case. His words were, we have a feeling you're going to turn out just like him, because my father is a 4-time violent felon.
Mm.
And he charged me with bodily harm to a child when I was 17, and the person I beat up was 15.
Right. Right. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions? Eric?
You had mentioned that you want to help younger people potentially with their own anger, and you had talked about doing anger management. So I'll ask you a question you might have heard me ask the last applicant. What did you learn at anger management?
Anger management taught me that there's not only a time and a place, but there's other ways to control your anger than to take it out on somebody else. And I guess for me, it was football. After I got in trouble back then, it was always football. It was always nice to put pads on as an adult and take anger and frustration out on the field rather than with my fists. So the coach I had back then, he helped me honestly more than anybody in my life become the man I am today. And I just look at it as a great window of opportunity to help younger children or younger men become a better person, whether it's through football or even other sports.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Receptaler. I think that covers it from us, and appreciate your time. Hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have Martin Calderon. And Mr. Calderon, I'll just note that Reverend Hancock has recused himself from hearing your application, so he will go off camera and not participate in questioning, and that is why. Otherwise, Mr. Calderon, we're ready to hear from you. Mr. Calderon, do we have you with us in the Zoom?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay,
Are you
I'm trying
able
to see how I could get on the video.
Okay, we'll try prompting you and see if that helps.
There you go.
There we go.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me on this feed. My name is Martin Calderon. I am very. I want to start off that I'm very remorseful for what happened in the early 2000s with my drunk driving. I did receive a 5th drunk driving, and I did do some time in jail. But before I went and did time in jail, I did check myself into a program to get help. I went to Teen Challenge recovery home, or and I did time there. The judge did allow me time to complete 4 months there, and then I was sentenced to do the incarceration time that I did receive. Again, I'm very remorseful because of what I put my community through and also what I put my family through. You know, my family had to adjust certain ways in regards of helping me out. And I just, it was a very bad time in my life at that time. I was very, at the time, kind of depressed. I went through a divorce, and I made some very foolish decisions by relapsing and going back to drinking. And there was major consequences that happened because of that drinking, and it affected me and it affected a lot of people because of the choice that I made, which was very selfish. And, you know, I had different outlets I could have attend to, but, you know, it was, I believe that depression that I was going through just kind of overshadowed everything. And as I said, I went through Teen Challenge, went and did my incarceration. After that, I really turned my life around. I really got involved in community. I worked for a nonprofit organization doing gang intervention prevention work. In 2016, I started my own nonprofit, and it was called God Touch Milwaukee. And I was working with guys who were coming out of incarceration and guys dealing with AODA issues. We were very successful in what we were doing. I started off with one group home. By the time I left the organization, I had started 4 group homes and started a church, which we did a lot of outreach in the community and had my guys who lived in the homes be part of the community to integrate them in coming back to the home. By then, I've received a lot of awards because of the work that I've done. I received awards from the state legislation, from the Common Council, from the Milwaukee Police Department. And I just was very active and involved in community and really wanted to change lives because of the mistakes that I've made. And I wanted to show people that, you know what, yes, you made mistakes, but you could do better. You know, there's something better out there. And I give it to the people that hold me accountable, and the people that I circled myself around were positive people, people that were very encouraging. As of now, I've been very involved in AA. I have a sponsor and I sponsor people in AA. You know, so I take my sobriety very serious, and I know that that lifestyle back then was a very hurtful lifestyle, you know, not just for myself, but for others that I've been saying. But as I said too, after that, my turnaround has been very positive. As of today, I'm working contract to the city, doing outreach work in the communities, in the community, and I'm really, you know, our team is being very effective in these high crime areas that we go into, working with families and providing different resources in different ways of them making better decisions. You know, my future, if I do get this pardon, I'm looking at possibly running for alderman, and being a felon, that holds me back. I cannot do that. And that's something that I know if I was to be elected, I'd be able to provide more resources for the community that I do stay in and I live in. And, you know, I think that, you know, I've done a lot of talks in different schools in regards to my past experiences and the things that have happened. And the one thing that I tell people is that they have to surround themselves around people who are going to be able to uplift them, especially when there's time in their time of need. You know, and I believe my faith has really guided me and directed me to a positive position in life where I'm at right now. And, you know, with the pardon, as I said, it's a possibility I can run for office, you know, then I can also travel. That's one thing I would love to do, is travel. And I haven't been able to travel to certain areas because of the felon I do have. You know, so I really believe that, you know, my past experience to where I'm at now has been very effective to be able not only to help myself, but to help the people around me.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Calderon. We'll open it for questions from the board. Cindy?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Calderon. Can you tell us how long you've been sober?
I've been sober for 20 years now.
20 years. Okay. And you're
Yeah.
still very actively involved in AA. Is that fair?
Yes, I am. Yep. 3
All right.
meetings a day, 3 meetings a week.
3 meetings a week. Okay.
Yep. hmm
Thank you. Congratulations on your sobriety.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Calderon, I'm just trying to do some math here. So was this 2004 incident, was this your last relapse?
Yes, that was, yep, because that, I mean, going to jail, you know, having to do the time that I did there was very eye-opening and very just, the consequences really had an effect. You know, let's just say that. They had a really big effect on what happened.
And it sounds like you did like a 4-month recovery program prior to that
Yes, I
sentence?
did. Yep, yes, I did. hmm
Thank you. Other questions from the board? Seeing none, I think that covers it. Thank you, Mr. Calderon. Appreciate your time. and
Thank you
hope
so
you
much.
chat
You guys
next
have a
time.
blessed day. Bye now.
You too. Thank you. All right, next up, we have Edwin Chavaria, Mr. Chavaria.
Yes, hello?
Hello, we can
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
you. Are you able to turn your video on?
Ye- I'm trying to send my video. Start. Oh, here
There
we
we go.
go. Thank you so much. Um, I wrote a statement out. I prayed over this statement and I asked God, to really have the part in here what I'm feeling since what I've done 20 years ago. Good morning to the members of the Wisconsin Board Advisory, and thank you to the one member of the board who served our country. Thank you. My name is Edwin Chavarria. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you today. I want to begin with full accountability. In 2005, I committed a serious crime, a Class C felony. I pled guilty to a strong arm robbery involving a BB gun. The BB gun was not functional and no one was physically hurt, but I understand that my actions could have caused fear and emotional harm to the clerk working that night. And for that, I am deeply sorry. I'll always be sorry for the rest of my life. At that time, I was a young man making a very poor decision. My fiance and I purchased a car that was far beyond our means, our financial means. Shortly after that, I lost my job at a printing press and we began falling behind on our bills. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I felt overwhelmed and ashamed that I couldn't provide my family. Instead of asking for help or finding an honest solution like a job, I made the worst decision of my life. I panicked and I robbed the gas station with a BB gun. Shortly afterwards, law enforcement and stopped the vehicle I was in. They were patrolling the area and they were just doing their patrol. So they pulled us over and they're investigating the crime. And based on the different descriptions of the suspect at that moment, I knew I had a choice. I could stay quiet or silent or take responsibility for what I've done. I chose to tell the truth at that moment. It was a conviction of God letting me know, be truthful right now, son. I told the deputy I was the person who committed the robbery. I handed over the money that I took from the clerk and gave the BB gun I had used. I cooperated fully, and I respectfully and honest with the law officer that night. I did not want anyone else to be suspected or get in trouble for something I have done. I pled guilty to the charge and accepted my sentence as a man. I was 22 years old. The judge gave me the least sentence allowed under law at that time. I wrote a sincere apology letter to my victim, expressing my remorse and taking full responsibility for the harm I have caused him. The consequences of that decision changed my life forever. I lost my freedom. I received a full felony conviction, and most painfully, I missed the birth of my daughter while I was in prison. Missing that moment is something I will regret for the rest of my life, and it's something I can never get back. That experience forced me to truly grow up and reflect on the kind of man I want to become in life. I was raised in a Christian home and church, and during the lowest times of my life, I turned back fully to my faith. My faith taught me about repentance and accountability, forgiveness, and the importance of living a life of integrity, but also understand that true repentance must be followed by true change in life. For the past 20 years, I have worked every day to live out that change. And since 2016, I've been employed at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in Kenosha. They gave me the only opportunity, and I ran with it. With my record, with my felony, they gave me the opportunity to provide for my family, and I thank them. I work hard. I'm an honest worker. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't go to bars. I'm not in the streets. I live for my family. I live for God. My wife has stood by my side through hardship because of my past. When I struggled to find employment because of my felony, she supported our family in every way. She never gave up on me. I did not deserve that level of loyalty from her. Together, we have built a family that means everything to me, us. I am a father of 5 children. I have 2 sons, including a 14-year-old son with autism, an 11-year-old son. My oldest son is 24 years old. He's hardworking, and he's a store owner in the city of Milwaukee, which I'm very proud of him. I also have 2 daughters. My oldest daughter is 25 years old, and she's a Montessori kindergarten school teacher in downtown Milwaukee, helping shape the young minds of our children. And my 19-year-old daughter is 19 years old. She's 19 and she's attending METC, building her own future, her own legacy. I am also blessed to be a grandfather to our 4-year-old granddaughter at a very young age, at 42 years old. My children and my family are my greatest motivation to continue living a responsible and honest life. I want to continue being a positive example for them and making them proud of the man I am today. I worked hard to become who I am. My goal moving forward is to give back to my community. I want to mentor young people and speak honestly about the mistakes so they can understand the consequences of the bad decisions we make in the heat of the moment, that everything can be taken away from us, not knowing the consequences, not knowing that one mistake could defy a long-term consequence sentence. I'm asking today for the opportunity to have my civil rights fully restored, not to erase my past, but to move forward without permanent barriers for a mistake I have spent 20 years plus proving I will never repeat again, or any crime. I give all glory to God for the transformation in my life. If I'm granted a second chance, I promise I will continue to live with integrity, serve my family, and contribute positively to the citizens of Wisconsin and my hometown where I was raised and born in Milwaukee. To the youth, they need it. They need someone like me, someone they could say, if he could do it, I could do it.
Thank you, Mr. Chavarria. We'll
Thank
just
you.
open up to questions from the board.
No, it's fine.
Cindy?
Yep. Good morning, sir. A couple
Thank
of
you, ma'am.
questions. You, on your application, you listed Amazon as your work, but that it ended in 2022.
No, I'm still employed with them, ma'am. I was injured at that time, so I'm pretty much working from home. So I've been employed 2016 to present right now.
Okay, but you're off on
On medical leave, yes, ma'am.
medical leave. Okay, and
Yes,
have
ma'am.
been since 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, I actually had a back
You don't
injury.
have to, you don't have to talk about your health issues. I just was confused because you said you were still working for them. Okay. And then my second question, in 2015, there was a harassment restraining order filed against you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm gonna be blunt and honest. I had an affair, and this affair produced a son, and it was a life that I was torn between. The young lady that I broke her heart, I led her on, and I made her seem like I was gonna leave my wife and my kids for her, and I own up to that. And no one was hurt, no one was threatened. She just used it as a leverage to take away 50% of custody of our son, and I understand what those consequences come with. You know, it was another consequence. God's letting me know you can't do this. This is your consequence. So that
So
unfortunately,
did you oppose the restraining order, or did
no,
you
I
appeal it?
I actually I went to court. She had a lawyer. I couldn't afford a lawyer. We're on a budget income, so you know she the lawyer and them agree with the judge, and we just let it be. You know,
Okay,
I never. Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Other questions? Reverend Hancock.
The district attorney in Milwaukee County who reviewed your application supports your getting a pardon. Now, it will be up to Governor Evers to decide, but how does that support make you feel?
It makes me feel great that he could see that, you know, I haven't I haven't reoffended, you know, and made another a terrible crime or I'm out there, you know, like I believe that he knows that he that that this letter that he signed saying, hey, I think Edwin is good for to be pardoned because I know that I could 100% say that I would never reoffend again. You know, I hurt someone, and I'm live with that for the rest of my life, and I have to explain that to God. You know, I think about my victim every day, so I want to make the Wisconsin proud. I want to make Milwaukee proud. I want to make everyone proud that believes in me, and I thank him for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions from the board? Eric?
I just want to go back to the 2015 case for a moment and clarify something. Were you saying that you did not have an attorney, but the petitioner did?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the court record for that case, it says that you appeared in court with attorney
Oh,
Mark Schoenfeld.
Yes. And I completely forgot. He was the wrong attorney for that case. So he was a criminal attorney, and that was more of yeah, he was not for that case I needed. You know, he was like, no, you need someone for he did me the favor, but it was just the retainer was too much, or so I could at that time I couldn't find the attorney to fight for the custody for my child and everything. So that was what pretty much it was a blunder on my part, you know. Um, again, I I'm a man, you know. I had an affair, and it went, you know, her way, and I fully respect her. And then we keep going. You know, I keep going to court trying to get custody for my son. You know, but other than that, you know, my record speaks for itself. You know, I haven't reoffended.
All right. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chabria. I think that covers it from us. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I thank you for your time today.
Thank you. God bless you all. Have a good Friday.
Next up, we have Timothy Chabot. Mr. Chabot. We can't hear you. You do look like you're unmuted. No. No. We still can't hear you, Mr. Chabot. We'll have leave and come back. Okay, great. Mr. Chabot, we're gonna go on to someone else in the meantime, and we will just come back to you. If we can't get you hooked up, we'll have someone reach out with some troubleshooting. So in the meantime, Garrett Glamon, Mr. Glamon, let's go to you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. First, I must thank the Pardon Board for the opportunity to speak today. This is extremely important to me, and I'm very nervous. I would like to read a speech that I prepared for you. Thank you. On August 28, 2016, I was staying at the Riverwalk Hotel in Nihon, Wisconsin. I was visiting from Missouri for work, and I was 19 years old. We were installing bleachers at a local elementary school. On that night, I was drinking. This was the first foolish and criminal thing that I did that night. I was underage and never should have been drinking. I stepped outside from the hotel bar, and I know I had too much to drink. I saw a stranger walking to his car, and I cursed at him. This was the second very foolish thing that I did, and I am ashamed to say things only got worse. After I cursed at him, Mr. Morris, the victim, walked up to me and I hit him once in the face, and he fell to the grass unconscious. Looking back at what I did, my actions scare me. Of course, I should have not hit him. Of course, I should have not been drinking underage, and I should have been more respectful of others around me. But for me to hurt someone, another person, for no reason at all, is a sheer act of immaturity, stupidity, and even worse, it was a dangerous and violent act. After seeing Mr. Morris unconscious on the ground, I instantly felt disgusted with my actions, and I still feel remorse to this day. If I could go back and take it back, I'd do anything to do that, but I can't. That night, after knocking him down, I leaned over to help him, but another passerby told me to get away. I moved away from Mr. Morris and walked up to my hotel room to reflect on my actions. I sat there in complete disgust with myself. The police knocked on my door, and I told them the truth about my assault on Mr. Morris. I spent 4 days in jail. As a 19-year-old young man, I was scared. I spent most of my time crying and angry with myself for my horrible decision making. My father drove 8.5 hours to Wisconsin to bail me out of jail. I pled no contest and accepted my felony conviction I was charged with. I have never tried to excuse what I did or diminish the significance of my actions. What I did was truly horrible, and I deserve to be punished. On November 11, 2016, my family came to my sentencing where I was convicted of substantial battery, and I served 2 years on probation. I'm proud to report that my life changed while I was on probation. I had no interactions with police, and I maintained absolute sobriety. Based upon my excellent conduct on probation, I finished serving my sentence. Judge Walt granted me an expungement, and I am very grateful that he expunged the case and charge, and I am proud to have earned the judge's trust. I would like to tell you a little bit how I changed my life after. After I returned home to Missouri, I took a long, hard look at myself and I asked, is this the man I want to be? It was not. I needed to change. I need to face my alcohol consumption problem. I had to grow up. I have done just that. I have stayed sober for 2 years during my probation, and I have continued to be very careful when I'm around alcohol. I rarely consume even one alcoholic beverage. It is reserved for special occasions. After seeing the way I acted that night, I told myself I never wanted to be that way ever again. In an entire year, I might have a total of 8 to 10 drinks. I also took an anger management class in 2017. This taught me to express my feelings in a nonviolent way. It also taught me how to slow down and breathe, not to make quick emotional decisions. Sobriety and anger management have helped me tremendously. So has self-reflection and setting goals. In 2018, I started dating Alyssa. We are now married. We bought a nice house in a great neighborhood with an awesome school district, hoping to start a family. Alyssa's father is a union electrician. He gave me the idea for applying for an electrical apprenticeship. It has taken 5 years, but I finally completed all my tests, and I am now a journeyman wireman of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. I hold a leadership role as a foreman at the company that I work for. It is a big responsibility. I'm in charge from a safety standpoint of electrical work for all of my workers on all my job sites. Part of that responsibility means setting a good example for others. I arrive early every day, no matter what is going on, and it is important to keep a positive attitude. The job pays me well, and I have great benefits, even a company truck. My wife, Alyssa, is 21 weeks pregnant with our first child, a baby boy, and we are so excited to welcome him into the world. I'm especially excited to teach my son how to be a responsible man, to love and care for others. My wife, my son, the rest of my family, my friends, and my community, and my job are all part of a strong support system. I would never dream of putting that at risk by drinking or engage in violent or criminal behavior.
Thank you, Mr. Glennon.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Were you finished?
Oh, no, I just got a little bit more. I'm sorry. Those aren't just words. I truly love helping family and friends and others in need through action. Here are a few examples. My mother worked at First United Methodist Church in Excelsior Springs, Missouri. In 2023, it was discovered that the exit signs were out of order. I volunteered to change those lights. In addition, the pastor lives at a house that the church owns. She had 3 kids and they needed a place to play. When I heard about this, I installed a playground set for them. Receiving a pardon would help my family tremendously. First, our son is on the way right now, and I want to be an active dad in my future children's sports, school activities, Cub Scouts, and anything else they are interested in. I also have 2 nieces. With the pardon, I wouldn't have to worry about not being allowed to serve as a volunteer at school functions or extracurricular activities. I want to be active in my children's lives and raise them to be better than me. All I want to do is watch them succeed in life and help others succeed with them. I will also worry about being allowed to travel to Canada for family vacations. A pardon would also help my job security. In 2023, I was asked to leave a government job site because of my felony conviction, even though it was expunged. I worry that if I'm unable to enter certain job sites in the future, that it could negatively affect my employment status. A pardon would help me. I suspect if a similar issue arises, showing that the state of Wisconsin trusts me enough to forgive my felony, my company works at government buildings all over the Kansas City area. I take full responsibility for my actions in August 2016. I never should have been drinking underage, never should have addressed or made insulting remarks toward Mr. Morris, and absolutely never should have struck him. I have made serious changes to my life, and I've become a better man, husband, brother, son, and citizen. Thank you for this opportunity today.
Thank you, Mr. Lemon. Questions from the board? Cindy?
Yeah. Good morning, sir. Have you had any contact with firearms since your conviction?
No, I have not.
You've never entered a raffle to win a gun?
No.
So postings on your social media that state that would be incorrect, or?
Yes, I've never tried to enter a raffle for a firearm or anything like that.
Okay. So you posted that on March 14th, 2019 on your social media?
I
How do you explain that?
I do not recall reposting that or posting it.
Thank you.
I knew okay, backstory on that. I don't remember doing that, but after my expungement was granted through Judge Wolt in 2018, I thought that I had all my rights restored back to me. And so I went through a concealed carry class and talked to people. And whenever they went through and did the fingerprints, they said that it came back that I was not allowed, and I got denied. So from there, I was like, okay, I don't want to do anything detrimental or cause any infractions. And so I was like, nope. So if I did enter a raffle or share something, I believe I didn't. And I'm sorry if it popped up and showed that.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Mr. Glamon. Oh, sorry, Reverend Hancock. Oh, you're still on mute.
Mr. Garrett, the judge and the DA both support your getting pardoned. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel very thankful and grateful that they have encouraged that. Obviously, if I could take it back, I would. And I can't, but all I can do is prove to you guys that I have changed my life and have done better for myself and those around me, and I want to be a productive member of society.
Okay, and so let's go back to the social media post.
Yes, sir.
Our records show that on March 14th, 2019, you posted this. I just entered to win a Barrett M82A1 rifle from Classic Firearms. The same setup at Demolition Ranch used to blow up his car. $11,000 value! Exclamation point. And then you posted, loaded or unloaded, we are always ready to party. Happy birthday. That was to a friend of yours. So what's up with that? Did you or did you not enter that raffle to win a firearm that you knew you could not have?
To my knowledge, no, I did not enter that raffle.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glennon. I think that covers it from us. Appreciate your time and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
I believe we have Mr. Shabo back in the Zoom, so we will try to hear from Mr. Shabo. We still cannot hear you. Mr. Shabo, here's what we'll do. We'll have you call in by phone. And then as long as you mute your computer speakers, it shouldn't be a problem. We'll just have you twice, once on video and once on the phone. And someone can reach out and give you those directions. In the meantime, our last applicant of the morning session is Kenneth Sonnen. Mr. Sonnen? Mr. Sonnen, do we have you with us in the Zoom?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if I can get the video back. I was on before and it canceled it. Start video. Start my video. There we go. There, how's that?
Perfect.
There we go. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Ken Sonnen, and on 12/31/1985, sorry, I got a cold, so apologize for the cough drop. I committed the robbery of a gas station. A stupid thing to do. I did it due to my low self-esteem at the time and wanted to have a good time on New Year's. I'm sure I scared the attendant, and I hope since then he has forgiven me. Not realizing the full consequence of my actions in hindsight, I never would have done such a stupid thing. I was sentenced to 4 years probation, which I have completed with a couple of minor issues, the biggest being which I missed employment and about 3 weeks later was pulled over for speeding and got to enjoy jail for the weekend until my parole agent released me. Since completing my sentence in 1991, I did not have any further interactions with the police other than traffic tickets or to report a crime. I was married and have a son who I fully raised and has never been in any legal trouble, which I'm proud to say. I maintained work throughout the 40 years since, losing out on a couple good jobs due to my conviction. While I don't have any letters of recommendation, I do have a letter from district attorney supporting this pardon, which I'm glad to hear. Over the years, I did do a fair share of volunteering at my son's school, fundraisers, field trips, and Little League Baseball. I also was the troop leader for his scout troop. I initially was requesting this pardon so I may get my CDL license for school bus driver, but for some reason I was able to get it, not sure why, as it's supposed to be a lifetime ban due to a felony robbery conviction. So I'm not sure if they saw that I was applying for the pardon or if it was just that old. I would enjoy the peace of mind that comes with the pardon. I do enjoy fishing and someday hope to try to fish in Canada or travel outside the US. I appreciate you taking the time to consider my pardon. Thank you very much, Ken Sonnen.
Thank you, Mr. Sonnen. Cindy, question from you.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. A couple of questions. Are you employed now?
Yes, I am at the Right Way Bus Company. Yes,
okay.
I am.
So you drive school kids?
Yes, the future, drive our future.
Do you enjoy it?
Oh, very much.
Oh, good.
Very
okay.
much. The kids are very polite.
Okay. Well, good. That's good to hear. I want an observation. I appreciated in your application that you had expressed your remorse and empathy for the victim. And I really appreciated having you acknowledge that the harm caused to that person during the robbery. But you sped past, you didn't submit any letters of support. So tell us why you didn't, because those can be very helpful to the board.
I never really was involved with pastors or any political members that I felt would be helpful for this. Like I said, I did do volunteering at my son's school and stuff like that, but that he is 30 now, so that was 20 years ago. So when I put this application in 2 years ago, all those people, I'm sure, probably forgot me or whatever. The school teachers or the principals would have forgotten about me by then. So
okay, thank you.
So
other questions from the board? All right, Mr. Sanan, that is it from us. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you being flexible with the schedule for me. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay, Mr. Chapo, I see you're back in the Zoom, and we'll try turning it over to you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna have some, so I joined from my phone. I'm having some. All right, here we go. So good morning, Chairwoman Barnes and Pardon Advisory Board members. As you know, my name is Timothy Chabot, and I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. I have prepared a brief statement that I would now like to read. I am here seeking a pardon for 4 felony convictions that occurred between 2002 and 2010. Possession with intent to deliver THC, maintaining and operating a drug trafficking place, robbery with threat of force party to a crime, and child abuse intentionally causing harm. In my written application, I provided detailed accounts of each of these crimes. I believe in full transparency matters. Addiction took me to places that I'm deeply ashamed of the person that I was, the people that I hurt, and the burden that I caused so many, both within my nuclear family and within the community at large. I have no excuses, and I carry deep shame for my past transgressions. Reliving that hell I created at that time, both when completing the initial pardon applications and even writing this opening statement, always leaves me sick to my stomach. The person that I was at that time is not reflective of the man that I am today. I believe that I was born an addict. I dabbled in drugs as early as 13 and seeking acceptance and a feeling of belonging from all the wrong people and putting myself early on in all the wrong places. Even though I was adopted by loving and caring parents who did not even drink and smoke, I became a lost teenager who only thought about himself. I became a felon at the age of 18. At that time, I was already deeply addicted to drugs and alcohol. My addiction consumed every part of my life. My judgment, my relationships, my character. I hurt people, I embarrassed my family, I abused the trust of my community, and I violated the law. There is no excuse for what I did or the life that I lived. The only way I can explain my situation back then is that I needed drugs more than I needed air. I would trade my soul for a fix, and at times I did. The next 8 years are documented in my application. Out of my 4 initial sentences, I was revoked twice. Judges, district attorneys, probation officers, my family, they always bent over backwards to give me second chances, and chances that at the time I honestly did not deserve. At first, I didn't want to stop using. In the latter times, I could not stop using. Even on probation and facing revocations, my need for drugs to fix something broken inside of me consumed all my decision making. I do not minimize my part in that history. I was a horrible and broken human being, and it reflects both the severity of my addiction and my belief at the time that I was not worth living. Then in 2010, in a jail cell in Outagamie County, I had a life-changing experience with my now Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. This all started because there was only one book in my cell block, a book called The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. This book brought me to the book and brought me to my knees begging for forgiveness. It was in that jail cell that Jesus found me broken. His love lifted an unbearable burden that I was carrying and replaced it with his mercy and his grace. I was on fire from there. I read my Bible front to back twice before I was released, and I finally found what I was missing in my life. I was still an addict, but now one for God. My faith was so transforming at that time that I even got other non-Christian men in my cell block to do a daily Bible study with me. I was more free in that jail than I had ever been in my entire life. I was baptized on June 27, 2010 at Christ the Rock Church in Appleton. The case that brought me to Christ was my last felony conviction, and I completed all supervision in 2016. I did relapse on alcohol in 2013, which was my last interaction with law enforcement. I've had no criminal conduct since then and have been sober since June 5th, 2013. Since my encounter with Christ, my life has been radically different. God told me that he wanted me to help others the way that he helped me. I earned my bachelor's degree in political science from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, with my dream to be working in public service. I wanted to work in government because I wanted to change the way we treat addiction and the way we incarcerate people. And I also want to show others, recovering addicts and formerly incarcerated persons, that you could still follow your dreams, even with a criminal record. I always said that you don't need 100 people to say yes to you, you only need one. Following God and that philosophy, I have been blessed to have worked in the state legislature, both in the Assembly and the Senate, on Capitol Hill, and most recently served for 5 years as Deputy Chief of Staff for Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley. Currently, I now serve as the Operations Manager for the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office, something that in my addiction years would have been laughable to think of. In that role, I help grieving families and community members. I work and support with local law enforcement, district attorneys, and public safety across Milwaukee County and southeastern Wisconsin, helping families who are dealing with some of the worst situations that they will have to face in this life. A true testament to the change that God can make in even the most lost of his sheep. I am married to an incredible woman, Nikki, who was instrumental in me applying for this pardon. I'm blessed beyond compare to say that we also welcomed what is now our 4th child, baby Grace, to our family in October of 2024. My 4 children are the world to me, and they are everything that I do for them. They are Jeremiah and Harmony. They are twins who are 11 that I had from a previous relationship. And now with my wife, Nikki, we have Josiah, who's 4, and baby Grace. We are active in our church and in our community. I volunteer. I speak to individuals who are incarcerated about recovery and reentry. And I dedicate both my professional and my personal life to improving the systems that I so once heavily burdened. I want to be very clear. I do not come before you today believing that I deserve a pardon. Justice was served in my case. I earned those convictions. I hurt people, and I have to live every day with the depravity of the person that I was. I am here today because the people who truly deserve relief are my children and my wife. They did not commit these crimes, yet they carry the consequences. I've had to explain to my son why I cannot coach his flag football team because of my record. I've also had to tell my daughter that I cannot chaperone her field trips. Seeing the disappointment in your child's eyes because of your past mistakes is a weight that I carry every day, and it hurts me in my soul. Secondary to this, I'm also limited professionally. Under Wisconsin's Constitution, with my felonies, I cannot run for public office ever. I've dedicated my life to public service because I want to give back to the community that I once took so much from. My desire is not power or status, it is service. And I want the opportunity to lead at the highest levels I am capable of, and to show others in recovery and reentry that redemption is possible. Just last month, I was reminded of our limits. My friend Adam Purcell, who's also formerly incarcerated and a leader in the reentry community, resigned from his appointment as the director of the Office of Community Wellness, Safety, and Prevention because of his past felony convictions. Watching that situation unfold was difficult, especially for someone I look up to, because it reinforced that even after transformation and years of service, certain opportunities, like leading a local department, may remain out of reach for convictions and people like me. More than 15 years ago, while incarcerated, my life changed. I surrendered my life to Jesus Christ. I believe I received my eternal partner and mercy and grace that I did not deserve. That transformation is evident now in how I live and how I work and how I serve. I stand before you now, not asking for you to erase my past, but asking for the opportunity to continue my redemption story at a greater capacity. If granted, I will use this pardon to serve more fully, as a father, as a husband, and as a public servant. If denied, I understand. I do, and I will continue serving anyways. But today, I humbly ask this board for mercy. I want to thank you, Chairwoman Barnes, and advisory board members for your time and consideration, and I'll be happy to take any questions that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Chabot. Board members? I believe you may, oh, Cindy?
Good morning, sir. Clarification. So in your application under number 11, you say, I have been continuously clean from any and all forms of narcotics since July of 2013. And
Yep.
So do you continue to use alcohol?
I do not.
Okay. And since when did you stop using alcohol as well?
So I had relapsed in 2013, and then I've also had some time in 2020 when COVID hit, where I relapsed on alcohol as well.
Okay. And so how, since 2020, you've been sober from all narcotics and alcohol? Is that fair?
Yeah, and narcotic is much longer. So June of 2013 would have been
narcotics.
Yeah, Adderall. But the the drugs, the hard shooting up and all the things that I was doing was 2010.
2010, okay, and then 2013, and then alcohol, a couple of relapses, but since 2020.
Yeah.
And what do you do to maintain your sobriety?
Sure. So I go to Celebrate Recovery. I do small groups with men. I've been in AA and NA, but it's more focused on Celebrate Recovery and my relationship with Jesus.
Okay. Well, congratulations on your
Thank
recovery.
you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Mr. Chabot. Appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we are running a bit behind, so we are going to move straight into our next session of the morning. Our folks scheduled for 10 o'clock. So I'm just going to go through housekeeping and introductions again very quickly so that we can get started. So welcome everyone. My name is Mel Barnes. I am Chief Legal Counsel to Governor Evers and Chair of his Pardon Advisory Board. With me today, we have board member Anthony Cooper Sr., who is the CEO of Focused Interruption, an organization dedicated to interrupting the devastating cycle of violence in our community. Mr. Cooper received a pardon from Governor Evers in January of 2021. We have board member Reverend Jerry Hancock, who is the director of the Prison Ministry Project. He previously served as a public defender and a deputy district attorney. And we have board member Cindy O'Donnell, who served as the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Corrections under Governors Thompson, McCallum, and Doyle. And we have board member Eric Liberatore, who teaches paralegal students from around the world in the University of Cincinnati's online program. And he previously served as a supervising attorney at Disability Rights Wisconsin. And we have board member Myrna Warrington, who is the Director of Vocational Rehabilitation on the Menominee Indian Reservation. She is a U.S. Army vet and has been a member of the Menominee Tribal Legislature for over 15 years. Just a couple of notes about how this morning's hearing will work. We are going to call on you in the order listed in the agenda and open meeting notice. Please keep in mind that the hearing is being live streamed via Wisconsin Eye and YouTube, so please mute yourself and keep your camera off until it is your turn to be heard by the board. If you have any IT issues with Zoom, someone will reach out and help you try to troubleshoot. You can always come back to you if needed. Each applicant will have 5 minutes total with the board. We'll ask you to spend the first 3 of those minutes speaking to the questions that we sent you in advance. As a reminder, those are to please give us a brief summary of the offense you're seeking a pardon for and how your sentence went. 2, to give us a brief summary of what you've done since the completion of your sentence, including community involvement and employment, essentially where you're at now and how your life is different than the time of your offense. And 3rd, a brief statement on why you're seeking a pardon and why the governor should grant you one. Once you've spent about 3 minutes on those questions, we'll open it up to any follow-up the board may have for you. Keep in mind we have spent quite a bit of time with your application materials before today's hearing, so you do not need to cover everything today. With that, once you are finished answering any questions we have for you, you're welcome to sign off. You do not need to hang out for the rest of the morning. Once everyone has been heard, the board will meet in closed session and decide whether or not to recommend your application to the governor. You need a majority support of board members present in order for your application to be forwarded to Governor Evers, who will then make a final decision about whether or not to grant you a pardon. You'll hear about the outcome of today's hearing about 1 to 2 months from today. So thank you for your continued patience while we make those recommendations to the governor. With that, we're ready to get started with our first applicant of the second morning session, which is Robert Granger. Mr. Granger.
Good morning. I think I have everything on.
Sounds good.
Okay, I prepared a statement because I'm very emotional anyway, and I thought it'll just help me keep on the right path. My name is Robert Granger. I started having problems with drinking and drugs at 15 years old, trying to be somebody I wasn't so I could fit in with a group that I didn't belong with. In 1982, I broke into Berta Trucking, stole 2 half bottles of liquor and $13 in change. That is the felony on my record. I received 5 years probation and 60 days incarcerated. There was $305 in restitution that I did pay. And since then, in 1984, was my last failed suicide attempt. I was ticketed also for fleeing an officer. In 1985, That is the last legal issue that I came into. I was serving the 1 year incarceration that I received for fleeing an officer, and I got in trouble for possession of narcotics in Huber. In July of that year, I was admitted into treatment for drug and alcohol abuse. And what came out of that more than anything is that I became honest and law abiding. For 13 years, I stumbled in my sobriety. Currently, I have maintained 26 years of sobriety, continuing daily, which includes working with others. I have been gainfully employed since 1985 in manufacturing, holding leadership roles for the last 20 years. I have served on the board of the Waukesha Alano Club for many terms over the years, currently serving as president. I have been an active member at my church for 20 years. My youngest son will turn 21 this year. He was diagnosed with severe autism at just 2 years old. This is the most significant event in my life. I have raised him as a single father, and since 18, I am his court-appointed guardian. I advocate for children with special needs whenever I can. Part of my recovery is about making amends. I have submitted this paperwork because I am truly sorry for the crimes that I committed. My biggest regret about this event is that Mr. Berta, it was Berta Trucking, retired up north years ago and passed away, and I never made the effort to see him. He had the right to hear this from me also. I did not ask for more character references from people I know because I am still deeply ashamed of my choices. I have been offered quite a few opportunities over the years for promotions in other companies, but because of the background checks, were either denied or I withdrew. I would also like the opportunity to serve in local government. Thank you for your time and consideration. Again, I just want to stress I'm guilty. I'm not asking for something I deserve. I'm asking for forgiveness.
Thank you, Mr. Granger. Cindy.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Granger. Just a clarification. You mentioned you've been continuously employed, but in your application, the last employment you have ended in 2014. So is that just an oversight, or you still work?
No, I have worked steadily, but unfortunately with manufacturing, my first job when the Gulf War ended, I was let go. I got into my second job from there, and I had a serious eye injury. There have been some closures. I have made some changes for better opportunities. This currently is my third longest job. I have worked at Falk for 10, it was about 1 month short of 10 years. Then I went to Laddish. At Laddish, I worked there for 9 years. Then I went to another company. I was walked out of there for workforce reductions out of my control. I got into another company that I was a superintendent at, and unfortunately, they closed the doors. Manitowoc Crane closed down, and that was our main customer. So the last job that I am currently at now, I will celebrate 5 years in July.
Okay.
But I've maintained, I think that over the years, I collected unemployment once for about two to 3 weeks. I've always, no matter what happens, I found another job.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for the clarification.
Any other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
Mr. Ranger,
Yes.
the judge in Milwaukee County, the judge in Waukesha County who reviewed your application for a pardon supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
To be honest with you, I just read that letter again this morning. I've kept that letter, and because they sent one to me, I've read that many times that it makes me feel pretty good.
Good. Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Granger. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Tina Flood. Miss Flood?
It tells me I can't start my video because you have it disabled.
Okay, we'll try prompting you here, see if that fixes it. There we
Okay,
are.
there I am. All right, so I got a felony in 1999 for forgery. I was in a very dark place mentally, and I was in a very dark place in my relationship. My then husband came home with a paycheck that he had taken from his employment and, you know, said, "Hey, I need you to sign this." And I said, "Well, I don't know that that's a good idea." You know, and being in the place that I was, I signed it. He took it and cashed it. And then when they came to question us, he said, "Well, you need to tell them you didn't do it." So I did my handwriting test. I tried to, you know, fool the system. And then like halfway through it, I was like, you know what? I did this. Like I did it. So I accepted it. I got my sentence. I served my sentence. Since then, I have gone back to healthcare. I've become a homeowner. I became both my parents' main caregivers until my dad passed away in September. It's been, you know, having a felony kind of has been a struggle with that because we've had to change a lot of like care management organizations because they won't let somebody with a felony get paid to take care of family members. I've gone back on my medication. I've sought counseling. I'm looking to get or hoping to get a pardon because I had to quit my last job because I couldn't become a notary. I couldn't get my seller's license. So I again came back to healthcare. And, you know, my kids are very big into traveling, which I've had to not partake in. So I would like to further my career and travel with my kids.
Thank you, Ms. Flood. Questions from the board? Cindy.
Yeah. Good morning, Ms. Flood. So you may have heard me ask previous applicants this, but you didn't submit any letters of support for your application. Can you tell us why not?
I didn't for several reasons. I mean, like, you know, I've heard some of the other people say, like, it's kind of, you know, an embarrassment thing. Like, and the biggest reason is my dad's always told me I got myself into this situation. I needed to get myself out of it.
Okay. And then in your application, you know, there's several sections where it talks about giving back to the community and any community service or anything, and you just have NA. Have you done any kind of community service, whether with
I did.
or
I mean,
schools
like
or-
I did my daughter's Girl Scouts when she was in school. A lot of like community service that I've tried to do with my kids, again, they're like, well, we can't have you around kids, or, you know, we can't have you around money.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And you, at the time of your application, you were in an office, working as an office assistant. Now you're back in healthcare.
yes, I was an office assistant and they wanted me to promote to sales manager, which I couldn't get my seller's license through the state of Wisconsin, and you have to be a notary. And I obviously couldn't be a notary, so I just resigned and went back to healthcare. And I've been at the job I'm at since January of 25 when I.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
Ms. Flood, you explained about the paycheck and your husband getting you to sign that. And that was in 1997. And our records indicate that in 1998, you had 3 other misdemeanor charges of issuing worthless checks. What was that all about?
At that time, like I said, I was in a super dark place, mentally. I had gone off all my meds, and so at that point, like, I kind of knew that I was going to get charged and have a felony, and that, you know, it was kind of already going to mess up my life. I was leaving my husband, so I wrote out checks basically for cash to leave him. knowing it was wrong, as soon as I went to court and got convicted, is when I decided to seek counseling and go back on my meds.
Okay. And what kind of medications were you on and went off of?
I was on depression and anxiety meds. And then when I went back on, I was on anxiety meds, and I was also diagnosed with bipolar.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board? Ms. Flood, just one from me. It looks like you were ordered to pay some restitution. Did you pay all of that off?
Yes, I paid all the restitution and the back pay for the misdemeanors.
Thank you. I think that covers it from us then. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Next up, we have LaCedric Ward. Mr. Ward,
Yes, can you hear me?
we can. We can't see you quite yet. There we
Can
are.
you see me? Hold on, I think the
Yes.
light's kind of dark in here. Hold up. What's that? Hope that's better.
There we go.
All right. First of all, thank you for having me this morning. I want to start with my charges that I'm seeking a pardon for. In 1998, I was convicted of possession with intent to deliver cocaine and possession of a firearm. I accept the responsibilities for my actions. I pleaded guilty. I was given 4.5 years in the Department of Correction, as well as an additional 2 years probation. I successfully completed that sentence, paid all restitutions for that. In 2008, a firearm was discovered in my home during a search while I was at work. I turned myself in immediately after learning that I had a warrant, and I accept the responsibilities for that. I was given 1 year confinement in the Milwaukee County House of Correction. These decisions were from very bad choices. I take full responsibility for them. The man I am today is different from the young man that I was when I made those choices years ago. Since my last conviction, I've dedicated myself to building a stable, productive, law-abiding life. Professionally, I have maintained consistent employment and worked my way from a welder to a certified welder inspector at Komatsu Mining Corp, which was previously named P&H Mining. I later earned a certified welding educator credential through the American Welding Society, and I now serve part-time as a welding instructor at Milwaukee Area Technical College. In this role, I help prepare students for careers in skilled trades, while also mentoring many who come from challenging backgrounds. Being able to guide others towards productive futures is deeply meaningful to me. Family has also been a central part of my life. I have been married for 20 years. I have raised my 2 children while helping my wife raise her 5 children. I am now a grandfather, and I remain committed to being a positive role model for my family. I also remain active in my community. I volunteer with the Youth Quake program that's sponsored through Faith Harvest Ministries. I participate in monthly men's groups, Real Men, Real Talk, which is sponsored through the WCS Fatherhood Initiative program. I attend Narcotics Anonymous meetings weekly to maintain sobriety, accountability, and personal growth. In addition, I also self-authored my own book entitled Embrace Your Own Shadow, Finding Strength Within Your Hidden Self, which reflects my personal journey of personal growth, accountability, and transformation. I don't want to say I am entitled to a pardon. I don't believe that. However, I would like a pardon because of the many years I have demonstrated that I'm no longer the person who committed those crimes. I've lived stable, law-abiding life. I built a career, raised a family, and committed myself to helping others. As a welding instructor, I now work with students who are trying to build better futures for themselves, and I take responsibility very seriously. A pardon would allow me to expand these opportunities available to me and strengthen the work I am doing to mentor others.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. We'll open up to questions from the board. Board members? Reverend Hancock.
Mr. Ward, the DA in Milwaukee County who reviewed your application supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
Very grateful. Very grateful.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Mr. Ward. That covers it from us. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have David Jacobs. Mr. Jacobs.
Hear me?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here this morning. I was convicted of fleeing and eluding an officer in 1996, which resulted in me crashing a motorcycle. I got 3 years, or I got 3 months of Huber and house arrest and 2 years of probation for that crime. Since then, I have opened a business, maintained that business for over 25 years. We try and help the community here in Appleton as much as we can. My wife and I, we run a holiday helpers program through the Christmas season, which raises money and funds so we can provide Christmas for 3 families a year. We also do charity events to help locals that are suffering. Let's see. The reason I'm kind of seeking this pardon, it's my 30-year anniversary this June of this offense, and I feel it's time. I've lived with this over my head for a long, long time, and I'm just ready to kind of move forward with my life.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. We'll open up to questions from the board. Board members? Reverend Hancock.
Mr. Jacobs, the DA in Milwaukee County who reviewed your application supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
Awesome. Makes me feel really good.
Okay, good. And I have one other question, just in your application. I read it to say that you donate your services, your tattoo services, to local law enforcement for benefit parties.
We have back in the past.
Yeah, well, I read that, and were you offering to tattoo law enforcement officers, or were you giving tattoo services to be auctioned off at a fundraiser?
It was kind of both. It was held by the Racine County DARE program. They would do a poker run in the fall, and we would come down and set up shop for the poker run, and we would tattoo at the event and then donate the proceeds to the DARE program in Racine.
Wow. So you're doing outdoor tattoos?
Yeah, they were inside. They provided a safe, sterile place for us to do our work.
Hey, all right. Thanks for clearing that up.
Thank you.
Mr. Jacobs, just one question from me. It looks like when you were fleeing, there was a collision that stopped the chase. Was anyone other than yourself injured in that collision?
No, just myself.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Next up, we have Denise Benton. Ms. Benton, I see you here in the Zoom. We'll turn it over to you.
I want to start by stating I want to thank everyone for this opportunity, for this pardon, With that being said, I was a victim of domestic abuse and mental abuse since the age of 18. with my kid's father. He always been abusive towards me. When I didn't do what he wanted me to do, he verbally and mentally abused me. I moved here to Madison to make a better life for me and my kids. He promised me he would stop when he got here, but it didn't happen. The kid's father got with some shady people who started him doing checks, the check thing. He came to me assisting that I open up a bank account to do the wrong thing. I did not want to do this, but he insisted on me doing it. If I didn't do this, he was going to beat me. So I did it to prevent from getting beat. His last straw was in 1995 or 96. He tried strangling me because I didn't want to be with him anymore. He ended up doing so many years in prison. Since then, I have went to MATC for my CNA certification. In 1994, I've been working as a CNA for over 30 years, and I love what I do. I wish I can go back into time and take all of this back, but I can't. I also wish I can apologize to every merchant that I hurt because I can't, but I do take full responsibility for my actions. So why I need a pardon? Because I want to travel as a CNA, which you cannot have a felony. 2, why should I get a pardon? Because I have did nothing. I not did anything since 1994. I've been working the election. I believe I did this for 3 elections and during the upcoming election. Moving forward, I plan on retiring in the next year or so from full-time work. Maybe work part-time once I retire and do some community work. I really miss my calling because I wanted to go to nursing school to become a nurse, but because of the felony, I couldn't attend. I would never ever let no one talk me into any wrongdoing again. I have truly, truly learned my lesson.
Thank you, Ms. Benton. We'll open it up to questions from the board. Board members? Reverend Hancock.
Ms. Benton, the judge in Dane County who reviewed your application for a pardon supports your getting a pardon. Now, Governor Evers will make the final decision, but how does the support of the DA's office make you feel?
Makes me feel really good. Like after my situation, I really did good in life. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have never done that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Ms. Benton. We appreciate your time today, and thank you for the important volunteer work you do as a poll worker. We really appreciate that, and hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
All right, our next applicant is Miss Linda Senatavosuk. Miss Senatavosuk, maybe you can correct me on how to pronounce your name.
Sentavisuk.
Sentavisuk. Okay, thank you so much. We'll turn it over to you.
Hi, my name is Linda Sentavisuk. I made a mistake that resulted in a forgery conviction that has haunted me every day since I was 18 years old. I was young, desperate, trying to navigate life with limited guidance, and made a terrible decision that I regret deeply. At the time, I had recently moved into an apartment, and a friend and her 2 children moved in with me. We encountered some disagreement, which ultimately resulted in her failing to pay her share of the rent. When her check came in the mail, I made a poor decision and signed her name to cover part of the rent. I have taken responsibility for those actions. 21 years of living with the consequence of a single foolish act. Although I did not serve prison time, I am aware that this felony record continues to impact my opportunities, particularly in employment and housing. Every attempt to rebuild my life has been met with rejections, and it has become painfully clear how much a single act can impact one's future, which motivated me to pursue my education, earning my HSED and enrolling in courses at MATC. Unfortunately, after a couple of years, I had to withdraw myself from school when my child was diagnosed with epilepsy and was experiencing bullying and self-harming at age 8. I married my childhood sweetheart, and together we have 6 wonderful children. For years, I dedicated myself to being a stay-at-home wife and a full-time mother. I turned my passion from crafting into a small business, holding on to hope for a better future. In 2023, with my youngest now in full-time school, I was prepared to return to school to pursue my goals. Sorry, I'm nervous. But life had other plans. That fall, my husband suffered a cardiac arrest that led to lack of oxygen to the brain, resulting in a traumatic brain injury that has left him in a semi-vegetative state. He was our provider, our strength, our anchor. Suddenly, I found myself confronting a reality I never prepared for. Being unable to care for him, not because I don't want to, but because my past legally forbids me from being his caregiver. A pardon, an opportunity for redemption would be a tremendous blessing. It would allow me to stand by my husband, be a mother fully present, and provide for my family. The struggle to find work, to be recognized for more than just a criminal record is an ongoing battle. I hope that I might be given a second chance to prove that I am more than just my past, and that I am capable of being the wife, mother, and provider for my family depends on. I am committed to demonstrating my growth and responsibility. I believe that this opportunity would allow me to show my true character and commit to my family. It is often difficult for employers to see beyond the record, and I'm eager to prove myself and continue building a better future for me and my family. Thank you for considering my story.
Thank you, Ms. Santavisuk. Appreciate your comments, and we'll open it up to questions from the board. Just one question from me then. It looks like in 2011, you had disorderly conduct. You explained it a little bit in your application, but can you just tell us a bit about what happened there?
Me and my husband got in an argument and I hit him.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Is that?
Me and my husband had gotten an argument and I had hit him.
I see. Okay, so were you convicted of that?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions from the board? Okay, I think that covers it from us then. Thank you, Ms. Santavisuk. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. Next up, we have Danielle Phillips. Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
All right, we can hear you. We can't see you. Are you able to turn on your video?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. It's saying you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
Okay, we'll try prompting you and seeing if that helps.
The host asks you to start your video. Okay.
There we go.
Actually pulling over right now. Good. I'm ready. I'm Danielle Phillips. Good morning to everyone. I'm here seeking a pardon this morning for three felony convictions. One being a theft and the other two being marijuana possession. And I'm asking the board for pardon so that I can reintegrate myself into my daily living. I've been denied employment. I do a lot of basketball and youth coaching type of things, and that bars me from actually doing it. I can only volunteer at this time. I can't really gain employment behind it because of the felony charges. It's been 20 some years since those charges. I'm no longer that individual. I'm almost half the age of since that. I've been currently working the last 14 years with no gaps of employment. Haven't picked up any other charges since. And I did get a letter from the district attorney's office stating about charges in Arizona. I think it was 2010 and 2012. And they said it was not to try to change the opinion, but it was just to let me and the attorney know that they had saw that. And so my attorney had informed me that we did list that on the application on section 4. So it was listed on there.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. If that's it from you, we can open up to questions from the board. Reverend Hancock. Oh, you're still muted.
Say that again.
You're in Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but I have a question for the third offense, which was in September of 2006, which was one of the drug offenses, I think. And you were in a Chevy Suburban in the parking lot of the Excel Inn in Wauwatosa. And when the police saw your car, they did a check, and it came back that there was a warrant through Georgia, and there was a caution indicator listed for you. Why would there have been a warrant from Georgia, and why would they have to be careful about approaching your car?
So what ended up happening, it was someone with the same name but different birth date.
Okay.
Yeah, my birth date is 3/19/76. I think that individual was like 71 or
okay,
something like that.
All right, thanks.
Other questions from the board? Eric.
It looks like in 2024, there might have been a Florida case, a criminal traffic case involving a driver's license. It looks like it got dismissed, but I was just wondering if there was anything that you could tell the board about that.
Yeah, so I transferred my Wisconsin license over to Florida license, and I think you have like 90 days to do so. And I think the 90 days had exceeded, so they had suspended my license until I switched it over into Florida.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions from the board? Mr. Phillips, one for me. I know you talked a little bit about your Arizona convictions that the DA flagged. I see based on your disclosures, there's one or two that were dismissed without prosecution. Do you have a felony conviction in Arizona as well?
Yes, ma'am.
You do. Okay. So do you understand that if the governor grants you a pardon, that would apply only to your Wisconsin crime?
Yes, my attorney informed me of that.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? All right. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. That covers it from us. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
The same to you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Next up, we have Kendricks Miller. Mr. Miller, we're ready to hear from you. I will note that Eric is recusing himself from hearing your application, so you will see him go off camera and not participate in questioning. That is why. But the rest of us are ready to hear from you.
Okay, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, good morning. My name is Kendrick Miller. In 1991, I was convicted of prior to crime armed robberies. So a little back about my history growing up prior to that. So I was raised in Blythe, Arkansas, when I was all the way up to 13 years old. And my mom had, I was in a household without a father, and my mom moved to Milwaukee. We're relocated, and then actually, me and my twin sister and stuff, was down in Arkansas, we was homeless. So I seeked an opportunity to get to my mother, so we got there to her. And just growing up in Milwaukee, she changed when we got to Milwaukee. She's like, she was no longer like there for us. So it's like, and we pretty much on our own. But I used basketball as my out on everything. And at this particular day, I was at the basketball courts and with another, and we went out. And I don't know where I'm at. I'm still learning Milwaukee, and now I'm in a situation where people are being robbed. So I'm there, and so I mean, yes, I already left.
Mr. Miller, we're having just a little
I
trouble
just
with
didn't
your
know.
audio breaking up. Could you
Okay,
try turning off your video? Because you are frozen for us anyway, so maybe let's try with just audio and see if that helps.
Okay, how about that?
That sounds a little better, yeah.
Yes. Okay, just a little about myself. I don't know how much you guys had heard. Just growing up in Arkansas, and then my mom moved us to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So Milwaukee was totally different from my upbringing in Arkansas. Arkansas, you could leave your doors open, everyone's friendly, just a small community. And get to Milwaukee, I never knew people can be so mean or whatever. Um, I got myself in a situation with a group of guys, cause like me, knowing that for my world, like everybody that's play basketball in the community, just everybody is there for each other. And Milwaukee is totally different. Showed me something different. Showed me a different side of other humans. And so I got myself in a situation where I was with these guys, and then robbery occurred. I was there, and for many years, I point fingers and stuff like that. Like, I shouldn't be here. I didn't do anything. But yeah, I mean, I took the accountability for me being there, knowing the situation, knowing it was wrong. I should have left. Um, so, it was definitely a turning point in my life. At first, like I said, I was filled with anger and resentment and self-pity. I blamed everyone and everything for that situation. And I had refused to take responsibility for my actions. But however, as that time went by, I realized that I needed to face the consequences of my actions and take ownerships in my conviction. Through self-reflection and seeking guidance from mentors and counselors, I began to understand the root causes of my behavior and the impact it had on others. I learned to acknowledge my mistakes and take responsibilities for them. This was not an easy process for me, but it was necessary for my growth and healing. When I got out, before getting out, you hear all these stories like, you'll never get a job, no one to hire you because you're a felon and all of this. Um, the way my personality, my character has always been, I never bought into it. I just felt like you go out there and you prove yourself and have confidence in yourself and what you're doing, you'll get what you're looking for. And so once I got out, and that's what I did. I went, filled out application. Like I got a guy gave me an opportunity, and it wasn't paying much. I moved to Madison, of course. It wasn't paying much. I think about like $7 to $8 at the time, and I'm knowing that's not enough to survive, you know. And so I continued to put applications in at that time, and ultimately I landed a good job. That's for me not being, giving up, being persistent, you know. And so I was working that job for like 20 years, and then I couldn't go no further. And I think my record kind of played a role to it. You know, they can't really out tell you why, but I felt like that was the only thing that hampered me. And so I wanted to try something different. And so I moved over. Now I'm in the pharmaceutical world. So I maintain employment 30 years now. I've had one other ticket, I believe, within those 30 years. And that was it. And I got 2 kids of my own. And I know what it's like to raise kids, what I needed when I was growing up. No, I didn't have a father there in the household. Let alone I ran away when I was like 13, 14 years old. So I learned life on my own, and I know what kids and what I needed growing up, and that's what I'm able to give to my kids, and then some kids in the community. But I know I'm kind of restricted as to how far I can give that because of my record. You know, being around kids as a convicted felon, I always kind of like raised an eye on me. Like when I go out and help coach, and someone want me to coach, and I was always in the back of my head, what if someone knew that this guy is a ex, ex-convict, you know, and so that made me like not try to further that. But I learned I learned a valuable lesson in life. Like I said, the growth. I'm a better person, better human. I love people. I just like I just think I deserve an opportunity to be equal to everyone else, you know. Um yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
We can open up to questions from the board, and looks like Cindy has one.
Okay.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Miller. So
Good
initially,
morning.
like you were sentenced to 10 years probation.
Correct.
And how did that go?
So my conviction, I'm sorry, it was 15 years in prison and then 10 years of probation with 20 years state sentence. So everything, like my parole officer or probation officer, they never had any problems with me.
I'm sorry. I'm just, were you revoked? Were you initially on probation and then you were revoked?
No, I was never revoked.
Okay.
I did 15 years, so I did 10 years in. Then I had parole. Then I had 10 years probation.
Okay.
Then I had 20 years of state sentence. So
Okay.
I never been back.
Okay. Yeah, it was just confusing because the criminal,
Oh
the
no, that's
judge,
okay. Yes.
the judgment of conviction shows that you were sentenced to probation and the state prison term was stayed. But then you had this letter of support from a sergeant at Oshkosh, and I thought, how did you get to Oshkosh? So I don't know. It's anyway, you were sent to prison immediately after this conviction. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And then when I got out, I had the 5 years of parole.
Right.
And then soon the parole was over, then that's when I had the 10 years probation.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then on top of that was a 20 years state sentence if I would have messed up.
Gotcha. Yeah, and you didn't, so good for you.
Absolutely.
And then I have one more question. It looks like you have some unsatisfied civil judgments in Dane County, 2013 for a little over $7,000, 2018 for $1,200, and 2025 for $2,000. What are those all about?
I think that was all medical bills, and I
Okay.
think when I was married, I kind of like I had the insurance, and I got screwed in that deal, but it all got worked itself out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
Excuse me. Mr. Miller, the DA in Milwaukee County supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel real grateful. It makes me feel like the world is they believe in me. The world believes in me and my actions, and they trust me.
Good. And let me go back to something Ms. O'Donnell talked about, and that is we get, when we like to get letters of support, and you submitted a letter of support that was pretty extraordinary. It was from a sergeant in the prison at Oshkosh that knew you 30 years ago. And she wrote to say how much prison had changed your life. How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel real good because that was the turning point of my life where working on myself, someone seeing me working on myself immediately, trying to become a man, take on responsibilities of all actions. Someone that's seen me at my lowest as a kid, and then for how I prevail. So that makes me feel real good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions from the board? All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, ma'am. You as well. Thank all of you guys.
Next up, we have Roy Martin. Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin, do we have you with us in the Zoom? Okay.
Hello.
Oh, is that you, Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Okay, great. We can hear you. Are you able to start your video?
I thought I was on video. Let me see. Start. Okay, let me see. Now can you see me?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh. Hello?
Yep, we can see you and hear you. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yes, my name is Roy Martin. I think it was about 22 years ago, I done something that I shouldn't have. I went into the mall and I purchased a cell phone from T-Mobile with a made-up Social Security number. But I learned, and that was like 22 years ago. Right now, a little bit about myself is that I'm taking care of my four daughter kids. One's 17, one is 16, one is 6, and one is 12. And also I adopt a 5-year-old. And right now what I'm trying to do to try to see could I have a partner, because the fact is I can go back into my old job, which was the management of delivering bread to Myers, Woodman's, and all the stores around here. And they dropped me and put me on the non-hiring because of my felony conviction. So I did get a chance. They called me and check up on me, see how I'm doing, and they saying if I can get this done, I would go back into my regular position, which is as a management. But the fact is with that is I'm trying to get a bigger house for everybody. I take care of my mom now because 6 months ago she was diagnosed with dementia, so she's moved with me. And the income right now I'm doing home health care, and it's just not taking care of everybody the way it should be. So right now that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. We'll open it up to questions from the board. Board members? Cindy.
Good morning, Mr. Martin.
Good
Can you
morning.
speak about the impact on the victim with the use of, whenever we see these crimes where someone's social security number is used, there's identity theft, their credit can be impacted. Can you speak about that?
Yes, when I was going through this, they said it was a social security number of I think he said a 1-year-old, and they tried to get they sent notices inform the parent of it, but they weren't willing to do any thing about it. So that's what I was understanding it about. But I know the impact that it will have because a couple years ago I got a call from FBI. They're saying that I had properties in California and in Florida. Someone had took my identity and was using my social security number, my name, buying houses.
Interesting. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah.
And then your wife was also charged and involved in some of this. And according to the criminal complaint, at one point you went to a store with her and you both purchased check printing software kits and things like that. So
No, that was not. I was never charged. That's had nothing to do with me about
no, you didn't. I didn't say you were charged. The criminal complaint says you went to an Office Depot with your wife where
No.
a check printing software kit was purchased.
No, not with me. I haven't. I didn't.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
Mr. Martin, the DA in Milwaukee County who reviewed your application supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
It make me feel that I can get a second chance because with you having that, I have filed for many houses, got turned down because of my criminal record, many jobs. So I appreciate that the DA is trusting me and giving me a second chance.
Okay. And are you still married to the woman who got you in trouble with this?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Martin, one question for me. It looks like at the time of your discharge, you had paid your restitution back. Have you paid that restitution now?
It was $600, which I paid it. I got probation for 3 month probation and $600, and I paid that like a week after that.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from the board? Thank you, Mr. Martin. That covers it from us. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Our last applicant of the morning session is Ada Pascaline. Ms. Pascaline. Okay, I do not see Ms. Pascaline in the Zoom, and I do not believe we received an RSVP from her. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to move the board into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 1 sub A sub D and F for purposes of deliberations concerning specific cases, for purposes of considering specific applications, and considering financial, medical, and or social and personal histories of specific persons. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second from Anthony. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries, and board members will ask you to give us just a moment to get the live stream stopped. Everyone, if you're just joining us, we're going to give everyone a minute to get in and connected, and we will start this afternoon's hearing very shortly.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, we are going to give everyone a minute to get connected, and we'll get started shortly. All right, looks like we've got our live stream working and most of us in from the Zoom waiting room. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mel Barnes. I'm Chief Legal Counsel to Governor Evers and the Chair of his Pardon Advisory Board. I'm going to introduce my fellow board members, go through a little bit of housekeeping about how this afternoon's hearing will run, and then we'll get started hearing from all of you. So with us today, we have board member Anthony Cooper Sr., who is the CEO of Focused Interruption, an organization dedicated to interrupting the devastating cycle of violence with the help of the community. Mr. Cooper received a pardon from Governor Evers in January of 2021. We have board member Reverend Jerry Hancock, who is the director of the Prison Ministry Project. He previously served as a public defender, a deputy district attorney, and as an administrator for the Department of Justice's Division of Law Enforcement Services. We have board member Cindy O'Donnell, who served as the deputy secretary for the Department of Corrections under Governors Thompson, McCallum, and Doyle. She also served as a division administrator under Attorneys General Lautenschlager and Van Hollen. We have board member Myrna Warrington, who is the Director of Vocational Rehabilitation on the Menominee Indian Reservation. She is a U.S. Army vet and has been a member of the Menominee Tribal Legislature for over 15 years. And finally, we have board member Professor Eric Liberator, who teaches paralegal students from around the world in the University of Cincinnati's online program. He previously served as a supervising attorney at Disability Rights Wisconsin, focused on public benefits eligibility, and in the governor's office. So with that, I will just go through a couple of notes before we get started. First, please keep in mind that today's hearing is being live streamed via Wisconsin Eye and YouTube. For that reason, we're going to ask you to keep your camera off and yourself muted until it is your turn to be heard by the board. That way we can focus on the person who's presenting and make sure we get good audio quality. If you do run into any IT issues with the Zoom, don't worry about it. We'll have someone reach out to you, help you troubleshoot. If it means we need to come back to you because Zoom isn't cooperating, we can certainly do that. Otherwise, we're going to call on folks in the order listed in the agenda and open meeting notice, and each applicant will have 5 minutes total with the board. We're going to ask you to spend the first 3 of those minutes speaking to the questions that we sent you in advance of today's hearing. As a reminder, those who are to first, please give us a brief summary of the offense you're seeking a pardon for and how your sentence went. Keep in mind, we're not here to retry the crime. We don't need you to minimize your involvement. We just want to hear from you in your own words what happened. Second, to give us a brief summary of what you've done since the completion of your sentence, community involvement, employment, essentially where you're at now and how your life is different than the time of your offense. Third, and finally, please give us a brief statement about why you're seeking a pardon and why you think the governor should grant you one. Once you've spent 3 minutes speaking to those questions, we'll open it up to any follow-up the board may have for you. Don't read too much into it either way. If we do or don't have follow-up questions for you, keep in mind we've spent a lot of time by this point with your application materials, and as you know, those are quite thorough. If we do have questions though, we want to make sure that we have time to get to those so that we can make a thoughtful recommendation to the governor. Once you're done answering any questions we have for you, you're welcome to log off and leave the hearing. Once everyone's been heard, the board will meet in closed session to decide whether or not to recommend your application to the governor, and you need a majority support of board members present in order for your packet to be forwarded to Governor Evers, who will then make the final decision on whether or not to grant you a pardon. So, with that, and I should say you'll hear about the outcome of today's hearing about 1 to 2 months from today. We know you've been patient just to get here, so we thank you for your continued patience while we make those recommendations to the governor. And now we are ready to hear from all of you. Our first applicant of the afternoon session is Leroy Shields. Mr. Shields.
Yes.
There we go. We can hear you and see you. Please go ahead.
Okay, so you said 3 minutes, but I couldn't open up the application to read what I'm supposed to be saying. What I'm supposed to be doing. So, but my name is Leroy Shields. I'm here today, asking for a pardon. I've been out for a long time now. I do take responsibility for all my actions. What I'm trying to do now is to better myself. I work with kids. I have grandkids. I'm a father, a grandfather, a husband. I've been working on my job now from Uptown for 10 years now. I do a part-time job, driving people back and forth to work, not an Uber. I work through a company doing that also. Really keeping myself focused and out of trouble. Um, Me and a friend of mine was trying to open up some kind of restaurant or something. We had saved up about $40,000 to do so. Have a lot of blockage when it comes to that, due to my background and stuff. I even thought about, instead of building, going to a food truck where may not be as, I might not need as much, what would I say it? My felon will not be as bad for me to move forward. Um, I do my best to stay, been out of trouble. I think I've been out since 2007. Had made a couple of mistakes, drinking and driving. I don't drink and drive or do any of that stuff anymore. But I thought I would say something about that because I haven't been in any major trouble. But that drinking and driving did have me a couple of times. Um, Other than that, I'm trying to restore my pardon for my civil rights, liberty, and freedom. I want to be a better, well, I think I am a pretty good father and husband, but I want something better for my children. I grew up without a father, and it's hard for one woman, I believe, to raise 7 kids on her own. So I don't blame my mom for anything. I take all my actions, whatever I did and got into trouble it was from the influence that I had in the street and listening to other people or trying to be in a fast life that I shouldn't have been in. But with that said, right now, me and my wife, we own a couple of houses, so we're into real estate. Um, My wife works a full-time job. I works a full-time job and a part-time job. I have 5 children, 15 grandkids. I know that's a lot. And try to do stuff with them like we do turkey giveaways during the Thanksgiving month and stuff. Try to give back to the community. A friend of mine own a food truck. From time to time, he'll pull it out and we'll give away free food to anybody who walks up who's hungry or need anything. I'm just trying to really better myself. And a lot of my background been holding me back. Even when I try to get into like the hospital industry, even janitorial or housekeeping, the background stops me for doing a lot of that stuff. We wanted to get some liquor license and open up something like a restaurant slash little bar like, and even with a felon that holds you back, you know. So I'm just trying to do better and hope for the best. I'm glad that I was able to see the board today. And it's been so long. I haven't forgotten, but it was a surprise to me. And I just wanted to thank everybody for allowing me to speak today and stuff. And I'm just doing the best I can to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Shields. Board members,
Okay.
questions for Mr. Shields? Cindy.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Shields. It's
Hello.
obvious to me that you spent quite a bit of time on this packet.
Yes.
And I appreciate that and the letters of support. A couple of things. It was interesting to me to see the second offense where you were stopped for a bench warrant, and you fled away, and then you hit the officer's car. And then by your admission and confirmed by the criminal complaint, you stopped and went back to the officer to make sure he was okay. And then you
Yes.
fled. Now you shouldn't have
And
fled.
then I fled.
We'll all
Right,
agree with
right.
that, right?
I
But I think
I was scared, but I
yeah,
was concerned about the officer
I
too because
know.
I seen the little blood on his head and it scared me.
And
And
that,
I asked him was he all right and everything, and
and then
it
that's
was
my
just
point. I think it shows the kind of person you really inside you then, the kind of person
yes,
You are. Yeah. So anyway, that was just jumped out at me. I don't know that I've seen that in a fleeing case before. But here's my question to you, because you've been, many of your offenses were drug related. You were selling. I
Yes.
don't know if you were using. You've had some alcohol related offenses, and you report in your application that you're sober from drugs and alcohol. So
Right. I go to,
tell us how long and how you maintain that.
okay, well, I go to AA meetings and stuff. I pop up on those. They even got a place on Fond du Lac that you can go through and you can sit around, drink coffee and mingle, and then tell your side of the story to other people and let them know what got you into the situation that you were in. And I think most of the time when I was drinking and driving, you think that you're focused enough to get where you're going. And really, you shouldn't be behind the wheel at all. Because I could have killed myself or somebody else.
Right.
And as I learned that, I knew that I value my life and other people's lives. So I just stopped doing everything and then just try to focus on trying to be a better person.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Other questions from the board? Eric.
Good afternoon. It looks like in your background, there might have been a 2013 situation with some serious charges involved. And I want to be very clear that it all looks like it was dismissed. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, it's a good friend of mine, Cleveland Walker. Him and his girlfriend that got killed in the house, not too far from where I live at now.
Okay.
So with that situation, it seemed like that well, all of us was in this. I guess they went by a cell phone and they picked up 13 people and took us down. And I told them that I didn't need a lawyer. I was willing to take the lie detector test and everything because that was one of my best friends. And the DA had went on vacation, and I guess the police officer couldn't catch him in time. And then he's told me that they was gonna do something called a book and release. I don't know if you know what that is. They're gonna take me down, book me, and release me, saying that they had no probable cause to hold me. They was just bringing me down for questioning. The DA charged me with the crime because he couldn't catch up with the officer. And I could never get that off my record. I went down there 3 times to try to get it off my record because soon as somebody see that even pulls up a red flag. I even still got the card with his name on it here, and then the PO at that time that I had, so I still got all the paperwork from 2013. Still calling because they never did find the people who killed my friend either. So me and my wife, we still contact them from time to time to see if they heard anything.
All right. Appreciate your response.
Okay.
Reverend Hancock.
I think I might know the answer, but why is your GED from Oklahoma?
Well, back I was in prison. So I don't know what governor or something, they were sending everybody out of state to save money.
Okay.
And they picked me up at 3:00 in the morning. It took 30 of us out there to Oklahoma. And instead of sitting around doing nothing, I got a job and I got a GED at the same time.
Okay. How long were you in Oklahoma?
I was out there for 3 years, 4 months.
Wow. And were you in prison in Wisconsin and they transferred you? Or
yes, they did.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Because I was saying, how can I be a prisoner of Wisconsin and y'all sending me to a whole different state?
Right. No,
but
yeah, I've heard that story before, and I'm glad you used your time down there wisely.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions from the board? Mr. Shields, just one for me. Your last offense, it's 1992, so I understand it's a long time ago. But if, to the extent you remember, can you tell us a little bit about the woman who was involved there? Based on the criminal complaint, it looks like There was a woman who maybe was pulled into your car before you fled. Can you tell us anything about what
Oh,
happened there?
well, I was going through a divorce, and that was my ex-wife.
I see.
And I was dropping her off, and what she did was when I was at the stoplight, she had hit me in my jaw. And just out of reaction, jumped out the car and grabbed her. And when the police see me, it would seem like it was like a battery or something. You know, she had called me and it caught me off guard, and I just reacted. And then I jumped in my car and fled. And maybe I shouldn't have did all that at the time, but probably it was a good thing that the police was there, because when she had hit me in my face when I came around the car, I really had because we had everything worked out that we was getting the divorce and everything, and she just caught me on the blind side, if you know what that was. Yeah. So yeah, I do remember that day very clearly, and it was my ex-wife Kimala Smith.
Okay, thank you. Anything
Okay,
else from the board? All right, thank you, Mr. Shields. That's it from us. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and thank you for your time today.
and I thank you too.
Thank you. All
All
right,
right.
next up we have Kim Wright, Miss Wright. Miss Wright, we have you with us in the Zoom. Okay.
Hello?
Oh, is that you, Miss Wright?
Yes.
Okay, you're very quiet.
Can you hear me?
Not really. It's very quiet and kind of muffled. Is it possible to get closer to the phone or the computer?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that is better. We're gonna try prompting you to turn on video. There we go. All right.
Okay. Do I just start talking?
Yep, go right ahead.
Oh, hello everyone from the parking board. My name is Kim Wright. I'm asking for a pardon because of a 96 charge of arson to a building due to me setting a fire. I was given 7 years probation, in which I successfully completed. I was ordered to do AODA and anger management, which has been done completely too. I was 27 years old at that time and didn't know how to control my emotions and had no thought to figure out what and without thinking of my consequences to stop me from my full potential. I was lost. I didn't know how to control my emotions when I was mad. The person that I got into it with was with a friend. I've talked to her since then, and we both agreed that we both was wrong. I also like to say that I'm remorseful and regretful for the things that I did. I'm no longer that person. It happened when I was 27 years old. Right now I'm 56. So like 29 years ago. And since then, I did a lot of things. I got my GED. I successfully did the AODA. I'm no longer drinking. I'm a grandmother of 10 kids, 10 grandchildren. And I'm asking for a pardon because there's a lot of things that I did when I was young. And I'm trying to I've cleared those, not trying. I've cleared those things up. And I just this is almost the final part of me trying to clear up the things that I did when I was younger.
Thank you, Ms. Wright. We'll open up to questions from the board members. Reverend Hancock. Oh, you're on mute, so.
Ms. Wright,
Yes.
the district attorney in Milwaukee County who reviewed your application for a pardon supports it. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good. It makes me feel real good that someone looks up and see that I'm trying to make a better model citizen of myself. I feel good about that. And I hope that you guys support me getting a pardon as well.
Well, that'll be up to Governor Evers. You understand that.
Yes, I do.
And you, in your application, you indicated that you're receiving treatment. Is that, can you tell us about that?
I see a psychiatrist. And that's the only treatment that I know of that I have. I went for treatment as far as going to the AODA and the anger management. It's been about 20-something years since I had anything to drink. I haven't been doing none of the things that I used to do.
Okay. And can I just ask a question about the offense? It was a long time ago.
Yes.
But the police report says you started the fire because you had a bottle of gasoline in your purse.
Yes.
Why did you have a bottle of gasoline in your purse?
I had me and the victim, we had an argument and I left and I came back with the gasoline to start the fire due to me being angry. I wasn't thinking at the time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Ms. Wright. That's all from us. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Friday and thank you for your time.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Everyone have a great day.
You as well.
Mhm.
Next up, we have April Huff, who I believe now goes by Crawford. Ms. Crawford?
Yes, hi there.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great, how are you?
I'm all right. Okay, oops. I have my paper here ready to read to you. Let me pull it up. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see here. Sorry about that. My landlord just walked in at the same time. Okay, so here we go. I have a statement prepared. Back in 1998, I had been involved in a situation with a friend of mine from work. We were working at Kohl's grocery store, and I guess she had stole somebody's checkbook, and I foolishly let her cash some checks in my line, and I went along with it. I did 3 days in county. I had 2 years probation. I've completed everything. I was only like 18 at the time. I've completed everything I was supposed to, with no problems, no violations or anything like that. Let's see here. And so since then, it's been 28 years now. I have never been in trouble again. That completely scared me straight. I'm in medical field. I've been a medical assistant. I'm a caregiver. I've been married. I got 3 kids, and I don't like this felony hanging over my head. Like I said, I was never in trouble before this, never after this. It was a one-time foolish mistake that I made, and I built a life I'm proud of. I'm in the middle of trying to build my own business for caregiving on my own, April's Compassionate Care and Concierge Services. And, I'm just trying to move forward without it hanging over my head.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. I'm going to open up to questions from the board. Cindy?
Yeah. Good afternoon. 2 questions. Are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In your application, you don't, the last employment
Oh.
you had.
Yes, I was going through a divorce when I filed, and so I had moved back home to Wisconsin for a short period while I was trying to figure things out. So at that time, I was actually disabled, and I've completely been rebuilding my health and myself. I've been working for the state for caregiving through the state of Michigan.
Oh, you're in Michigan now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Lots of changes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And my second question, as part of the application process, applicants are encouraged to submit letters of support for their application, and you didn't submit any. Can you tell us why not?
I don't think I realized that part of it. It was in the transition of me trying to file, and I was kind of lost on how to do that. And then I was moving here back to Michigan with my 2 children because I had full custody, and there was just a lot going on at the time, and I think I might have just missed that part. I did have my mom write a letter. I think I just forgot to submit it.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock. Oh, you're still muted, Jerry.
The district attorney in Milwaukee County supports your application for a pardon. How does that make you feel?
Relieved. This has just been something I've always, been embarrassed and ashamed of, and I take full responsibility for it. But I would be happy to just have it off my chart, my name, just move on and move forward.
Well, the governor will make the final choice, but the DA does support your application.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Crawford. We appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Next up, we have Robin Stevens. Mr. Stevens.
Hi, hello. So first off, I'd like to thank the members of the board, for taking the time to review my application and taking the time today to speak with me. My name is Robin Stevens. I'm a 32-year-old sales professional and audio professional. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I am a native resident, born and raised in southeastern Wisconsin. Since the time of my offense, I was a 19-year-old, very young man. I had made some very poor decisions to hang out with people that were in the middle of participating in a burglary. I was sentenced to some jail time as well as probation, which I successfully completed. It's been, I believe, 12 or 13 years now since the offense. I haven't been in any further trouble. I think the worst I've gotten since then is a parking ticket. So I've been doing my best to move forward with my life. I have had a daughter who's 8 years old now. I, at the time, was a very young man. I didn't have any career, any, professional aspirations. Since then, I have grown a lot as a person, as a human, as a member of our, community and society. I have DJ'd and volunteered multiple events at my daughter's school. I've participated in community workshops for music classes, all the way from Chicago up to in Milwaukee here. Just trying to show young kids that were in a similar position as me that there's a lot of other resources and paths that they can take with their life. I really appreciate everybody taking the time to speak with me, and I appreciate this program as a whole. I believe that a pardon would help me move forward in a number of different ways, with providing better for my family, advancing my career. There has been a couple of instances in my account management role in the past where I did not have the opportunity to travel, for example, to Japan and Canada because of the conviction that's hanging over my record. So I really believe that a pardon would help me move forward, not only as a better member, of the community, help my family, but also help me progress forward with my career as well.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Questions from the board? Cindy.
Yep. Good afternoon, Mr. Stevens.
Good afternoon,
The time, and I know you put the application in a while ago. It takes a while to get it. But at the time you were unemployed. So are you employed now?
Yes, I am currently employed, and at the time I put the application in, I had previously been employed, as I mentioned, in a sales and account management job. During COVID, the company that I worked for had a number of layoffs due to lack of sales, and not for me being a poor salesman, but the global supply chain was pretty tore up at that time. So we did lose quite a few numbers of our staff at that point.
So what kind of work do you do now?
So currently, I do still work in sales. I'm also a resident DJ at several clubs in Milwaukee. So that's a full-time salaried position. I'm not just like working for cash on the side. It's actually a professional, serious thing that I'm doing. I've been a DJ and an audio engineer professional for close to 10 years as well. And that's where I volunteered with my daughter and some of the other music boot camps for youth that I did in Chicago as well.
Okay. My second question, you committed this crime with your brother, and in the criminal complaint, the people that picked you up at that house later and other people expressed really surprise that you were involved, but not so much surprise about your brother. And your brother's not here, he's not part of this today. Other than, what is your relationship with him now? Do you still have a relationship with him?
We do have a somewhat distant but healthy relationship. My brother has done quite a bit for himself as well. He served close to 5 years in prison, and he is gainfully employed. He's been working, I believe, at Amazon for the past 4 or 5 years. And before that, he was at another company, a metal production company, for about 3 years. So I love my brother, and I don't want to speak poorly on him at all. But at that time, I think you were right. A lot of people would not have been very surprised to have seen him in a predicament like that. I would like to say that not only myself, but he as well has made a very strong effort to turn his life around and become a better citizen, just a better family member and person all around.
That's wonderful. Good for him. All right. Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Okay, I think that covers it then, Mr. Stevens. Thank you for your time, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' time as well. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Next up, we have William Dremel. Mr. Dremel.
Hello. Hope y'all are having a good afternoon.
Thank you.
My name is William Eugene Dremel III, though I go by Trey. Thank you for taking this time today to speak with me regarding pardon of my record. I want to begin by stating that my time in prison saved my life. After losing my father at the age of 9, I struggled with unresolved grief that led to severe drug addiction by the end of high school. The addiction resulted in arrests in California and Wisconsin. It was during my incarceration that I finally addressed my inner issues through the program at DAC. Since completing my parole or probation in California with that incident, I have maintained my sobriety for over 11 years, even while navigating the difficult loss of my sisters and mother. Being the only one left in my family has been hard, but have become stronger each day with the help of God, friends, and family. Professionally, I have worked for the same company for over 10 years, supporting S&P 500 companies like Google, Hewlett Packard, and Intuit, rising from an entry-level position to a current role as a business operations manager, overseeing multi-million-dollar projects. Additionally, I have successfully started 3 businesses of my own: a barbecue company, a trash can and pressure washing service, and a steel company. My wife Jackie and I were just married on October 18th of 2025 and recently purchased a home in Morgan Hill, California. We are very active in our community through church, Lions Club, local holiday food drives, and parades. I'm seeking a pardon for several reasons, significant reasons. First, I want to demonstrate to my children, including my children who's a teacher, football coach, and a soldier in the U.S. Army, that your past does not have to define who you are in your future if you're willing to work hard and change your life's narrative. Second, I made a promise to my late mother before she passed that I'd do everything in my power to put this chapter behind me. Furthermore, my current record prevents my wife and I from pursuing the goal of adopting children. And finally, my career growth is currently limited as my role requires entry level into high data centers and classified areas that require a clean background. Thank you again for your time today in requesting my pardon.
Thank you, Mr. Dremel. Questions from the board? Mr. Dremel, one for me. You may have spoken to it and I just missed it, but I noticed you report that you're sober in your application. How long have you been sober?
I was sentenced in 2012, obviously got sober then and been sober since, so 14 years and some change, yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Mr. Dremel. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, you as well. Bye.
Thank you. Next up, we have Clemente Salas. Mr. Salas.
Hello, how you doing today?
Great, how are you?
Good, good. So for my first charge in 2004, I was convicted of possession with attempt to deliver a carrying a concealed weapon. I was 17 years old, about to hit 18 at the time. I had found out my high school sweetheart was pregnant with my daughter. We already had she already had one son before that though. I couldn't find no job to take care of us, and I started doing, selling drugs and stuff. Um, Since then, I was looking back at the past and everything. I talked to my older son. My son's 23 years old. I got 12 kids. 12 kids actually. I got 2 grandbabies. Um, what's it called? Yeah, I'm sorry, I got it all written down. I engaged in the activities, but I know from my choices back then, it was wrong. I was looking back at it, and I know I thought I can carry a gun and protect myself, but as I look back then, like I tell my son and all them before, I let them know about my charges before, so they won't go down the same path as I did. Um, I thought it was gonna be keep me safe and everything, but it would have got me more in trouble if anything would have went wrong. That's what I think about now. And then the felony fleeing and eluding in 2007, I was completing my probation. I had 4 months left on probation, and I had two other people lied and made false accusations about me. So when they tried to pull me over, I got scared. Instead of stopping, I fled. Um, I think about that too. I could have really killed myself and all that stuff and killed other people too with my fleeing. And so ever since then, I got incarcerated. I had time in prison. I went to boot camp. I completed AODA. I completed the Challenge Incarceration Program. Since I've been out, I've been coaching football, baseball, volleyball for my daughters. I still coach in UCC. I try to open up a garden for the community. Instead, they built luxury houses over there instead of doing the garden for the community. I couldn't get no help with that. And but since my release, I started my own business. I used to work for Gali Auto Towing. I did a couple of foundry work. I worked at McDonald's when I first got out because I couldn't get no job when I got out, and I started working at McDonald's. Then I went to the staffing services. I worked at the foundry, making $8 an hour, getting burned and everything. And then I found a towing company. They gave me a chance. And 3 and a half years ago, I started my own towing company. I help people out now. They go with me for rides to learn how to tow. What do I do? I take some of the kids with me. I take some people actually that are trying to get their life right. I try to give them a chance and help them and show them how to tow. I show my nephews, my kids. I take them with me on rides to show them how I tow and everything. I still volunteer at UCC in the flag football. I got my GED in boot camp when I was in boot camp. That's and I completed my anger management and all that in a challenge in the challenge incarceration program with this all part of it. But I got critical thinking, and that's what made me change. What helped me really in life was coaching. Actually, it stopped me from everything. I made myself really busy so I wouldn't get in trouble no more, and it helped me out. And ever since then, I've been out since 2009. Haven't got in trouble. I got like a speeding ticket, I believe that was it. And that's all. You're on mute.
Sorry, it gets me at least once a hearing. Questions from the board, Cindy?
I'm going to unmute. Good afternoon, sir. Yeah, you've heard me ask other applicants this, but as part of the process, we encourage people to submit letters of support for their application.
I didn't read that part. I have a lot of support actually. My wife, I've been married since 2014. Like I said, we had 12 kids together. As my high school sweetheart, I'm still with her. I got a lot of support from her family. We've been going through a lot for the past few years. Her mother passed away, so we kept the house. We've been paying it off, trying to do everything with her and her sisters. What's it called? Well, my brother passed in 2004 or 2000, but everything's been going on. I didn't even read that part. I was just so focused on trying to get this done and keep my business going. It was a struggle in the beginning because that was the same year I think I started my business.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Other questions from the board? Reverend Hancock.
You said you committed your first offense because you needed money to support your family. How
Yes,
many kids did you have then?
I had my stepson because she had met someone before that, and then she was pregnant with my daughter.
So how are those two kids doing?
They're good. They both graduated high school. My son just had a son last year. My daughter, she was in college for a little while. She stopped going to college. She got pregnant. Right now, she's pregnant. She's due in May. We have a baby shower actually Sunday, and we got a quinceañera next week for my other daughter. I got 12 kids. One's graduating high school this year. She'll be in college. She just got accepted to like Iowa, Minnesota, out here. I think they put her on hold. She got accepted to do a couple colleges. She's in DSHA. My other daughter's in DSHA. One's in Augustine, and the other kids are in elementary and middle school.
Good. All right, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from the board? All right, thank you, Mr. Slez. I think that covers everything from us, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Kenneth Walker. Mr. Walker,
Good afternoon.
hello.
Today I'm seeking a pardon for 3 convictions from 2005, 2007, and 2010. These convictions stem from a period in my life when I exercised poor judgment and allowed myself to be influenced by negative environments and decisions. I take full responsibility for my actions and regret how my behavior has caused things in the community. Since my completion, maintained full employment with Fisher Sand and Gravel out in Phoenix, Arizona. My spare time, I mentor kids with youth basketball. Just something that I didn't have growing up, a positive role model to keep me out of the streets and to make like better decisions. So that's why I'm asking for a pardon today.
Mr. Walker, just the end cut out there. Were you continuing?
I said in the spare time, I volunteer with youth basketball, mentoring kids to teach them discipline and kind of to have like a positive role model, something I didn't have when I was that age to keep them out of the streets. That's the reason why I'm asking for a pardon.
Okay, thank you. Board members, questions? Cindy.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Walker. So the first offense was 2005. You were 22, and you were convicted of maintaining a drug trafficking place and got probation. 2 years later, search warrant around a FedEx package, right? With a large amount of marijuana, and you ended up getting prison time. And then again, 2 years later, selling a large amount of THC and cocaine, and got more prison time. So what is it about? Why did it take 3 times? And what is it about the third time? What changed for you? Why didn't it change after the first probation, which is often enough for a lot of people? Why did it take 2 prison terms? And then what connected with you?
I believe I was more so addicted to the money and the adrenaline of just selling drugs. What changed on my last prison sentence? I got a chance to do a program at MATC where we went at night to learn how to be a CNC operator. So when I got out, I had a chance to actually work a good job, and I didn't need to be involved in the streets. But the lifestyle and just being around people that was influenced me, so I didn't know that I can do better. So once I got away from those people and got certification to get a better job and make good money without being in the streets, then that's what changed it.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board? Eric.
It looks like in January 2013, you were released to extended supervision. And then a few months later, maybe May 2013, you were revoked. Is there anything you could tell the board about that?
As soon as I got out, I hadn't changed. And my first thought was to get right back involved in the streets to make fast money. And the consequences, it led me right back to prison.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry, Reverend Hancock, go right ahead.
Well, you said, well, let me back up. When you were selling drugs, your supplier was in Phoenix, is that right?
Yes.
And you said in your application that my environment needed to be changed. So why did you move to Phoenix?
I moved to Phoenix because of the weather.
Okay, that's one way to change your environment, but isn't that where your drugs were coming from?
Yes, I don't even know those people anymore. I haven't seen or talked to those people in years.
Okay, all right, okay, thanks.
Other questions from the board? All right. Thank you, Mr. Walker. I appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Jose Nieves. Mr. Nieves. Mr. Nieves, I see you in the Zoom. If you can hear me, we're ready to hear from you. Okay, we'll reach out to Mr. Nieves about tech troubleshooting. And in the meantime, Jeffrey Nepper, Mr. Nepper. Oh, maybe we are getting Mr. Nieves here. 1 second. We can see you, Mr. Nieves, we just can't hear you.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I cannot even see her. Let me open the screen a little bit bigger. Hello?
We can hear you, Mr. Nieves. Oh, now you're muted.
Okay. 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 Can you hear us?
Yep, go right ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. My name is Jose Nieves, and I was charged with for possession, intent to delivery, and I'll be sentenced for 5 years. And then after I do my sentencing, I get up and I start working, and I retire about with the age of 67 years old. Never get in trouble again. And now I start working by the airport, and I'm working with the airport for in May 28. They're going to be 5 years. They are working with them. And that's all what I do after I get up out of jail. Never went back. I don't want to go back. So that's all what I'm doing after I walk out of the jail. Never have problem with the police again. Never get involved in trouble. Only do hanging with my family, with my grandkid. I got 20 grandkids and 10 great grandkids. And I retired at the age of 67 years old. Now I'm 72. And I'm still working after I retired 5 years ago. I'm still working.
Thank you, Mr. Nieves. We're gonna open it up to other questions the board may have for you. Board members?
Okay.
Cindy?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Nieves. You had, you were found with quite a bit of cocaine. In fact, the street value of the cocaine was estimated to be at $50,000. So this is kind of a big time event. How did you get so involved at such a high level with so much cocaine and worth such a value?
Well, honestly, I was with the wrong person in the wrong time, and I blame myself for that. Even I never deal with that. Never use drugs. Never smoke. Never drink. And I get blamed for the mistake that we other people make.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand. You got blamed for what?
I blame for what happened. You know, for the mistake I made. When I went to court, I blame myself. I took all the blame. Even the other guy, he trying to get out of the trouble. So I took all the blame. When I never messed with drugs, I don't know nothing about drugs at the time. I blame myself for that. And even my lawyer told me that why I blame myself for it, but I was kind of ignorant. But I learned my lesson.
Okay, thank you.
Never mess with that again. Never with friend. I don't have no friend anymore. I don't need no friend. My friend, my kid, and my grandkid. That's it.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr. Nieves.
stay out of the trouble for more than 30 years.
Your audio is just cutting in and out a little bit, so I'm sorry if we keep asking you to repeat things. We just want to make sure we're hearing your answers. Board members, other questions for Mr. Nieves? Reverend Hancock.
Mr. Nieves, the Milwaukee County District Attorney who reviewed your application for a pardon supports your getting a pardon. How does that make you feel?
Well, that made me. Can you repeat that thing again?
How does it make you feel that the DA supports your getting a pardon?
Oh well, I feel great, and I'm happy because, like I said, never get in trouble again, and I don't need to get in trouble again. You know, I'm a retired and not even hang with friends no more. My friends, my family, and my grandkid. That's all I have in my life. That's all what I need. I don't need nothing else.
Other questions from the board? None? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Nieves. That covers it from us. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate everything.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Nepper, I see you are with us in the Zoom. We'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of the board today, and I want to say thank you for the efforts that you've invested in reviewing my application to this point. Quick review, over the course of a couple of weeks, or culminating in August of 2004, I made a series of incredibly poor decisions that have impacted me the rest of my life. The conviction I'm petitioning for today was possession of THC with intent to deliver. It occurred while driving around rural Buffalo County with some acquaintances at the time. A passenger had noticed wild hemp or ditchweed growing near the roadside in a cow pasture, and I had impulsively acted on a remark from that passenger that we should stop and pick it. Nearby residents had called in the description of my vehicle, and I was quickly apprehended by the Fountain City Police Department. During that interaction with law enforcement, I had been impetuous, arrogant, and antagonistic, characteristics I know that our society doesn't really appreciate, especially police officers. During the probation for this crime, I made one infraction in what I thought was a worthwhile effort to help a friend, a young woman who was not feeling safe while on a date. I had crossed state lines without the consent of my probation officer. during an interaction that ensued with law enforcement. I provided a false name out of fear for the repercussions of being in Minnesota without permission. My probation officer did not revoke me for this infraction, and this incident in which I acted in haste was the final transgression in my life. I've since received only a single speeding ticket and a violation for a city ordinance, and those two were also 18 years ago now. I am the proud father of 4 wonderful children, ages 10 to 1, husband of nearly 15 years to a beautiful and understanding wife, and have been a contributing member of society, having uninterrupted, gainful, and progressively more professional employment since my conviction. I'm currently held in such high regard in my professional network that I've been asked to be a recurring guest speaker at a leading academic medical center here in Illinois. Though I cannot currently participate fully in all the recreational activities I enjoyed in my youth, I embrace responsible conservation efforts, engaging in habitat restoration with a number of now close friends, some of whom have advocated on my behalf by providing letters along with my application and witness to my character. I also have volunteered in the past couple of years with charitable organizations such as the Alliance for the Great Lakes, doing beach cleanup, and the Nature Conservancy, performing volunteer habitat improvement work at Medaiwan National Tallgrass Prairie near my home here in Illinois. I hope to one day soon be able to share the full experience of sportsmanship and outdoor recreation with my children. They're seeing their cousins who are only a couple years older than them come of age and begin to duck hunt and deer hunt with their uncles. But we live so far apart that I cannot rely on my brothers to provide that same experience to my children. In addition, I have mentored 3 novice hunters over the course of the past several years, showing them how to responsibly and successfully enjoy the bounty of our public lands and the recreational opportunities afforded to us. And I'd like to be able to give this same opportunity to my children and take the opportunity for myself as well. I turned 40 this last Monday. I've had more years of my life than not under the shadow of this conviction, and I'm truly not the same person that I was 22 years ago. I scorned the person that I was back then. I let down those that are closest to me, and conducted myself in a manner that is not the same as who I am today. And I hope that this board and Governor Evers recognize the principle that forgiveness should be granted. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knepper. Questions from the board? Cindy.
Yep. Good afternoon, sir. The 2005 threatening violence, intent to terrorize, maybe you touched on it, but what was that? What were the details?
Yes. That actually, that was a 2004, late July. That happened only a week or two prior to the conviction that we're discussing today. But that was a physical altercation that I had with my father, after which I had produced a pocket knife and had threatened him with it. My father and I are since have reconciled, and we are very, very close. I'll be actually pursuing, if granted a pardon, I'll be pursuing an expungement in Minnesota for that. However, the process for an expungement is costly and would require an attorney, and it was determined after seeking legal counsel that I should pursue a pardon with Wisconsin before investing in that. And my father has agreed to provide a victim statement if that avenue is ultimately pursued.
Okay. And I'm not giving you legal advice, but one of the reasons you want a pardon is to hunt, but you'd still have that felony.
Correct. Yes. And this is just phase 1 of that entire expungement process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions from the board? Mr. Knepper, you just mentioned hunting again, and you talked about mentoring novice hunters. What exactly does that mean?
So I have some friends. They actually 3 of them are part of the character witnesses that had provided letters. I simply accompanied them when they went hunting to make sure that they knew the full scope of the regulations that we have to follow, helping them to really understand the opportunities in front of them as far as pursuing the game. So while I was not armed myself, I was simply kind of a guide in a respect to kind of show them like how the sport is pursued.
Okay, understand. And then 2008, you have a charge for unlawful use of a telephone. It looks like it was mended down to a non-criminal charge, but can you tell us about what happened there?
Correct. Yes, that is the city ordinance violation that I referred to, and that stemmed from Lacrosse. Lacrosse City has an ordinance wherein any vulgarities or profanity on a telephone is considered unlawful use of a telephone. So I had a been a bit of a screaming match with an ex-girlfriend on a telephone, and that had been reported to the police, who had followed up with it through that process.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from the board? All right, I think that covers it then, Mr. Knepper. Appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
Thank you very much. You as well.
Thank you. All right, our last applicant of the day is Michael Nowak. Mr. Nowak.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I am Michael Nowacek. I was convicted in 2008 of possession of THC, second offense. I received 6 months jail time, a year of probation. Since then, I've had 4 children. I've been married for 10 years to my wife. I own my own concrete contracting business. For the last 25 years, I've been in business with a partner and a small crew. Family life is kind of all consuming at this point. My children are from ages 16 to 6. Sorry, I'm really nervous here right now. Future plans and why I feel like I deserve a pardon. Outdoor activities to get my rights back, and then possibility of future employment if I ever were to look for, construction's kind of a physical job. I'll be 50 years old this year. Maybe a management role or something in the future. But yeah, that's about all I really have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nowacek. Let's open it up to questions from the board. Board members, Cindy.
Yep. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to say sir so I don't fracture your last name again.
Okay.
Couple of questions. So
Sure.
you may have heard me ask previous applicants this, but we encouraged letters of support with the application, and you chose not to submit any. Can you tell us why not?
Yes. Probably maybe just embarrassment to asking someone other than, a family member for a letter of recommendation. That's probably the main reason. Yeah.
Okay. You also, in your application, you report sobriety from drugs and alcohol. Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
How long has that been?
Since that offense in 2008, obviously incarcerated in probation, 0 sobriety. At that time, I was single, still going out a lot, drinking a lot, using marijuana, obviously. Since then, I had my daughter basically while I was still on probation that year, and that kind of changed my life. And I don't go out, drink, do much of anything anymore. So.
And how did you obtain your sobriety from?
I did go to some AA meetings in jail. Made me kind of realize a lot of my issues I was having were related to alcohol. I was more of a binge drinker, maybe on the weekends, just, that type of situation, not a daily drinker ever really. So that's about it. Church, faith, my children go to Catholic school. We try and make it to church most Sundays, and yeah, that's about all I really have.
Is that alcohol in the background there?
In the back? No, those are actually coffee
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even
No,
realize.
no, I
Those
just.
are flavored coffees.
Excellent. I just
Yes.
thought I'd ask because
Okay,
it's like
yeah,
a really
no.
bizarre background. for
Yeah,
what we're
I'm in a bar
talking
right
about.
now.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then 2008, you had a misdemeanor unlawful phone use threatening harm, and a 4-year TRO was issued. You say in your application there was some issues with an ex-girlfriend, but
Yes. That's kind of what led to all this. I kind of had an abusive ex-girlfriend. I had bought a house. She moved in with me. Essentially, we broke up. I had to get her to leave. That was kind of ugly. She was very resentful to me. And actually, this case came about because she told the police I was a drug dealer and whatnot. And somehow they got a warrant and kicked my door in. But the phone use, yeah, I think drinking, I called her and left some nasty messages. And yeah, the police were at my door the next day. So that's what that was.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Other questions from the board?
I have a question.
Marina?
So, when you're asked you why you wanted your, why you wanted a pardon, you said to do outside activities. What did you mean?
To basically my right to bear arms. My whole family, they're into deer hunting and everything like that. I'd like to be able to bring my boys deer hunting. We do the archery hunting right now. So yeah, that would be like a big thing for me.
Okay.
Other questions from the board? All right. Thank you, Mr. Nowacek. I think that covers it from us, and I hope you
Okay.
enjoy the weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Nowacek was the last applicant of our afternoon session. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to move into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.85 sub 1 sub A, D, and F for purposes of deliberations concerning specific cases before the board, considering specific applications, and considering financial, medical, social, and or personal histories of specific persons. Do I have a motion?
I'll make
Myrna?
that motion.
Cindy's a second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, and board members will ask you for just a moment to enter a live stream.
Oh.